Good morning. Good afternoon, because you're listening to this live on iAdobe Radio. Or you're listening to this on the podcast app the next day, or you're watching us on YouTube. So I could say good morning if I want to. I think that's appropriate. Wouldn't you say, guys? Do you mind if I say guys? Alex is in the background as well today, Alexandra, and Peyton is here. He's back from a trip from the Midwest. They're both wearing masks. We're taking the appropriate cautions because we got a big show today. Big show. We have two of my favorite people in the studio today, Britt Robertson and Jasmin Savoy Brown. Super excited to have them on. And it's the 4th of July. We're recording this on the 4th. And we're going to have laughs. We're going to have giggles. I'm going to make fun of Jasmin. And we're also going to talk about some of the serious stuff because I think it's given all of us enough time to kind of process everything that's been going on the past month. And it's going to be a great conversation because they're great people, they're smart people, they're in tune. And yeah, I'm really excited. I've been looking forward to this. And this is also the first episode back since we pre-recorded a bunch. So now we get to talk about everything that's been going on, right, Peyton?
Yeah.
Which I'm excited about.
We will be up to date.
We will be, that's true. That is very true. We won't be talking about video games today, sadly, as it is. I've been playing too much Fortnite before we get into it. I've been playing way too much with my brothers. What's this face you're making?
Apex is better.
Okay, I don't know what Apex is. I'm not going to get into Apex. I'm already addicted to Fortnite, and I am addicted because I play with my brothers, and we have great communication skills, and we feel like a real Navy SEAL team, okay? And it's the 4th of July. So I support the military. I support freedom. I support equal rights. And what else? I'm very thankful I live in America. America. It's not perfect, but we're getting there through love, communication, support, and fighting for what's right. Damn, that was good. Let's welcome Jasmin Savoy Brown and Britt Robertson.
With twins.
God damn it!
I just don't think you should joke around. That's how we're gonna finish.
Shut up.
Have humor.
Sisters.
Sister.
Mister.
I'm a sister, mister.
You're a sister. Mr. Sister.
Sister, mister.
Mr. Sister.
Or Mr. Sister.
I mean, they both rhyme,
Sister,
so I
sister.
don't think it matters super much if you put the M before or after. But if you do sister, mister, then it's S&M, which is kind of cool.
Where's the
Oh,
N?
I'm down for that.
Wait, where's
Sorry, I'm
the
just going
N?
to move this closer to your face.
Sister, Mister.
There's
no N.
I thought S&M was like S and M.
Is it?
Sadomasochist, right?
Oh.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
Talking about stuff I don't know
This
about.
is not a sex podcast.
Okay,
just
got it,
for
got it,
people
got
who are.
You have to
just
come
tuning
over
in.
to my podcast for that.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We
Hey,
should promote it. Well, wait.
Yeah, I love all the we's. We. We still don't know all the details, but it's coming out this fall for sure.
Smart.
I just
Okay.
don't know yet where. We're in that process now of deciding where it's going to live.
that's great.
It'll
We'll
come
come
out.
back for the promotion. We'll be back for the promotion of it.
Everything in my life, Britt's a part of. It's
We.
don't mind already picking my nose, and we just got here.
That's
There's
not
just-
surprising.
Is
That's the most Jasmine thing in the world.
it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Nose
Or not.
picking? I wouldn't say that.
Thank you.
I was going to go with more like compassion. Sometimes I feel like when I have the mask on, I talk like I'm in the dentist office.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm talking so I can take it off. Are we starting?
We've already started.
Oh, got it.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just going to bring it up closer. Yeah. There you go. You're good.
Okay, I'm done talking.
Okay.
Wait.
You were saying something about the dentist's office.
Yeah, sometimes when I wear the mask, I feel like I'm in a dentist office because I try to keep my mouth closed, you know, like when you're at the dentist office and they've got all the stuff in there and you're like, oh, no.
Yeah. You try to keep your mouth closed at the dentist's
I
office?
try to
don't
keep my
know.
mouth open.
I don't know where I was going with that. All I know is I was sounding really muffled when I was trying to talk with the mask on
Yeah.
because I was like,
Yeah, that's why I
Whatever.
just took mine off, and I thought I could do it, but I can't.
That's okay.
And that's cool
that's
if you
okay.
want to do it.
Yeah.
Better person than me, but I
I
just
know.
can't.
I know.
Yeah.
we're making this statement. You don't have to.
We are.
That's
Oh my
fine.
God. I've got to stop.
No, I love it.
It's like
I
it's
love
like
it.
those people in relationships who are always like, well, we could make it, we could go. I've always been a we girl.
But it's
Yeah.
like
I
good.
love it.
It's good to do that in your relationship.
Question.
I'm big on community.
You are big on community, and I respect that. What the heck is this we thing? This feels like an inside joke. Can I
It's
ask
just
about
she
it?
just keeps saying we, like all the things I'm talking about. She's including herself in
I
it,
keep
and
referring-
making herself a part of it.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I love it. It's
So
sisterhood.
weird.
It's sisterhood. It's like
I know.
I encourage
funny.
you. You have to make a hard decision in your life. I'm like, we'll figure it out. You know.
Yes. Because
Also, I'm touching you so much because I just need
we
to.
Can.
Yeah.
And I was tested yesterday. Woo.
That's awesome.
So I'm super touchable.
That's great.
Touching.
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 I missed you guys.
I missed you.
I missed you, Brett.
I missed this
just me.
vibe.
I missed you too. You guys, For the People would be so on trend right now
I know.
for the world, and I kind of still can't believe it's not happening.
Well,
Because also they would just be able to talk about I feel like we never really got into like the good meat
Yeah.
and potatoes of the stories of the world, or we only sort of touched on whatever it was, like I guess what's the
few,
math on
yeah.
that, 22. There wasn't like enough, we didn't get enough opportunities to tell some really cool
There's
stories.
so many
Yeah.
stories to tell. Imagine what they would have done with like the masks.
I know. Oh, whoa.
Can you imagine what Paul would have done with the masks? Something amazing.
yeah, he's like, let's give Jasmine COVID and her character Allison COVID.
Hey,
I'm just kidding.
I'm not smart enough to even know what story or what route he would take, but
I don't know.
I feel like
but
it
he
would've
would
been cool.
humanize people on all sides.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Miss that guy. I never responded to
Yeah.
that email he sent recently.
I had a really crazy dream about him last night.
Last night?
I'm just now remembering, because do you ever have this thing in dreams where at the time you know the person, but then you forget what that person, because it was more of what that person represented?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really weird. I can't remember enough about it now, but it was like he had like opposing views or something about we had opposing views, and it was just really interesting how he was approaching me about having these like very specific. But gosh, I should have written it down. Anyway,
I'm so
I digress.
curious.
No, it's okay. I love
that stuff.
hearing people's dreams because last night there was a dream. I actually had a dream about you, Jasmine, last night, and you were in the same car as me, and we were picking up something, but I couldn't really remember it. And it's now that I'm trying to explain it again, it's
Right.
lost.
That's
And
what
so the
happened to
reason
me.
why I'm bringing this up is because I was just listening to an episode where somebody was talking about a DMT experience, and they're like, whenever you have a DMT experience, it's kind of like a dream where if you try to explain it in words, it doesn't make sense. It just only makes sense in here and in feelings. And I know it sounds insane, but I'm like, oh wait, that's kind of like dreams.
100%.
I want to do DMT really bad,
What
and I don't
is-
do any
I'm kind
drugs.
of surprised that
DMT?
you would
Am
do
I
that.
crazy?
It's
What is it
already a
again?
chemical in your brain, right? DMT.
Yeah,
but
and your
it's
body
like,
produces it.
yeah, you
It
explain
produces like right before you
Oh.
die and stuff like that. It
We've
gets
talked
produced
about
as well.
this before. Yes,
Certain
yes,
breathing
yes, yes.
techniques.
When do you want to do it? Do you?
Actually, I might do it. Might. My 33rd birthday this year is coming up, so I might just do it then.
Hell yeah.
But it's the kind of thing where I probably won't do it
Would you do it?
because it's just like I don't know a guy, you know.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
Ooh.
I know two guys.
We could find you a guy.
We could find you a guy. Are you wanting to do it like you go to like another country and like sit on a mountain and you're led by a shaman? Or are you wanting to
Yeah.
like?
Do you need guidance for these things?
Yeah, I'd like some guidance. I'd like some super holy dude to do it. And I would need to like be like in a super pious state for like a few days to do it.
I'll send you some guys.
Okay,
Man.
thank you.
Yeah,
Multiple.
I'll send you a few guys.
All right,
So you have options.
thank you.
Multiple.
Yes.
Everybody loves options.
We will send
love
you some.
options.
We
Thank
love
you.
options, and we'll send you some guys.
Hey, how was your walk that you just took
Sweaty.
before you got in
It
here,
was
which
really
was
sweaty.
the most hilarious entrance ever? You both come in, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" You guys are sweating, and that's just nice. You guys wanted to catch up together, and I like
Yeah,
that.
it was nice.
I'm still sweating. My washer and dryer broke a while ago now, and I've just been really trying to stick it out. Long story short, I have nothing to wear.
We see- I'm kidding.
Wait, why are you trying to stick it out? Buy new ones.
I I don't know. It's a big purchase.
And the world's on fire. It's like not the time.
I don't want to go to Best Buy. You know, I don't want to go to Best Buy.
It takes a lot of emotional energy to
Okay.
go make a purchase like
There's
that. I
better
get
things.
it.
There's better things to do than Best Buy, but I eventually had to go to Best Buy. This is not like me trying to promote Best Buy right now. But I finally went because I had to. Anyway, so I have like so many piles of clothes just around because I've been going through all of my clothes. This is the only black items I have left, and
It
they are
works.
so hot. But it's like a long.
Yeah, I can't believe you were in.
sleeves.
You must have been way sweatier than me. I'm in this dress and I was like
Yeah.
drenched. You're
And
wearing
it's hot
long
out.
sleeves.
Yeah, and the mask doesn't. It's very humid in here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've turned down the AC. It's at 69 in here. So
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's nice. I'm glad you gave us like a cool down period. We needed
Yes.
that.
I could tell. There's no way you
needed
could
it.
have just came in and sat down doing the show sweaty. I mean, that would have been funny, but you needed a cool down period
Yeah.
for sure.
I couldn't
Yeah.
breathe.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I should just explain this or just tell you guys. My pilot got rolled over to next spring.
No way. What
Yeah.
does that mean?
Wait, yeah, what does that mean? I don't know.
So they want to save it to the development season for next spring.
So you're getting another paycheck to like hold you.
No.
That
They're-
is fucked.
I know, but
Wow.
it's a double. Here's the thing. Because it shoots in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And they just can't.
Yeah,
can't- and
but
the
there has
tax
to be a
break they get
holding
in-
fee or something. You can't.
They can if they wanted to hold me, but like the network, that's like extra money in case they want to hold me. Listen, that stuff is out of my control. I talked to the creator. He's super nice. His name is JJ. Super nice guy, super talented guy, great writer. And he was like, I'd love for you to still do it. If schedules still, are in
Oh, but
connection.
you're not
So I'm
tied
like,
to
cool.
it anymore.
That's the thing. He can do other stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I think
Okay,
that's
got
why
it.
that's also a good
Got
thing
it. It's
because
great.
then, what if something does come along?
Yes.
and then that, God forbid, that pilot doesn't go forward next year for whatever reason. It's
Okay.
like, well, at least so that's why I'm okay with not the holding fee.
Yeah.
Now, does that bother me with money? Yes, of course it bothers anybody with money, but I'm trying to think long term in here, and
Yeah.
also if it were to film this year, second wave coming in, more closures, more this, it's gonna stop kind of thing. It'd be at the very minimum a
Yeah.
mid-season show.
This is better, probably.
And I'm like, okay, now, am I going stir crazy? Yes,
Yes.
of course. But it is what it is. I just wanted to share that with you guys
No,
as
I'm
we
glad
talked
you're
about because
sharing,
you guys
yeah.
have shows too, and your show, I don't.
Still don't know. Like
Still don't
every
know.
month,
Every other show,
they're
yeah.
like,
Yours?
we'll tell you next month.
I mean,
jeez.
ours was tricky because we were supposed to start shooting the entire series in April. So they already had all the sets built and everything. And they're
Oh.
still there and they're built, I'm pretty sure. And as far as I know, it's still going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
where does it shoot?
Winnipeg.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad. Sad.
It's goodness gracious. It's just so much unknown, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I were to shoot something, do I want to do stop? Oh, we have to stop for a couple weeks. Somebody got sick. Okay, we have to shut down production, and then somebody else gets sick. Okay, like a start-stop kind of thing.
And you
Or-
wouldn't be able to like come back here at all. You'd probably have to
That's
stay there
what
the entire
sucks.
time.
In Jersey?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
worried
100%. I
about.
couldn't fly back. They wouldn't let me.
With my show, it's an ensemble cast. It's like
Ugh.
15 leads. Like half of them are adults with families.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't quarantine 15 women, especially ones who have husbands and wives and
Babies.
children
Yeah.
here. You can't
doesn't-
say
no.
you're stuck in Toronto for 6 months or in Vancouver.
Was
Like
it
how-
Vancouver?
It's Vancouver, yeah. So I'm like, what are they going to do? Move everyone's entire lives up there and keep us all quarantined?
Yeah, they can't
Like,
quarantine actors. I don't know.
What's going to
It's-
happen?
I think that's the problem is they haven't really figured out how to do any of that stuff. It'll be an interesting test because they're starting sports up right now. And so I
Right,
think
but
that-
without anyone in the stands, right?
exactly no fans, but they're quarantining all these players. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of that because I think it would sort of end up being a very similar situation
Yeah.
for production.
So are their families quarantined
No.
too?
no?
So they just don't get to see their families for their entire season.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, that's from what I know, that's the case.
That's nuts.
I feel like the people in charge of handling everything have
Are
done
trash.
a really shitty job.
Yeah, it's not a feeling, it's a fact.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the thing which I have issues with and breaking down the facts of what's going on. new virus. There's a lot we don't know about it. It's kind of weird in the way how it affects certain people and it doesn't affect certain people. For instance, like majority of healthy people at the very worst, they have like really heavy flu-like symptoms. Sometimes some people are like, oh, they get really affected by it. But that's such a small percentage. And then like the other majority, not the majority, but like a good percentage of healthy people just kind of go through it, asymptomatic. But then
I think
it's like it's so all over the place. That's the thing. There's no like specific like group of people like, oh, for sure, except for like if you have underlying health conditions, like you're morbidly obese, you have heart problems, you're on you have diabetes. So that's why it's like hard to like pinpoint what will like this type of person will die from the disease.
Yeah.
And then I have a problem with the fact that they count if you had like liver cancer, which is actually a story I just heard. If you were dying from liver cancer and liver failure, that kind of stuff, and you had COVID, they list it as a COVID death.
I don't understand all of it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't know. That's all. Like, there's just so much information.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is I'm just gonna like wear my mask and not go anywhere.
I don't trust any of it,
because it's so conflicting.
And because I also just don't think they have enough evidence to know enough about it anyway. They can say as much as they already know, but there's just not enough to compare it to. And other countries, like, we just don't have good enough relationships with other countries who have handled it in others. You know what I mean? I just don't think we have enough information. So wear your masks.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm not being anti-mask, by the way, even though I'm the one not wearing a mask right now.
We all actually don't have COVID. This is just more of like
I said, I was just tested, so a
statement and a precaution and a respect thing.
Yeah. No, I'm all about wearing the mask as a precaution and something, but it bothers me that there's so many conflicting things because doctors are being pressured why they're listing it as COVID deaths in these private hospitals to list it as a COVID death, so they get more funding and help from the government for it.
That's why.
And I'm like, well, that's kind of not truthful. That goes against basic ethics.
But maybe they need it. Maybe they need more,
for other things. They're probably so underfunded.
Right, but then that's misleading whenever you have the COVID. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
But of course it does. But when you think about misleading. The administration, no one is helping them, and then they're feeling, I think when people are sort of like suffering in these conditions, they have to make sort of concessions and say like, well, I'm willing to sort of waive this mistruth, if you will, in order to save 2 lives, because you know what I mean? It's like a weird thing in that way.
And I feel like, look at the richest billionaires and quadrillionaires in our country, like Jeff Bezos and stuff. They can like suck 10,000 dicks. Like, they don't pay taxes. That is way worse than like a doctor trying to like get a little extra funding to like save someone else's life or like better their hospital.
I'm not trying to compare.
I know you're not comparing it. I just think like I know you're not comparing it. I feel like there's just these. Everything is so backwards in terms of capitalism and like the people who are stealing our money, and then we judge like someone who's really trying to do good, and they maybe are like smudging a line a little bit, and it's like maybe writing something or like taking unemployment if you don't like really need it. Well, we pay into the system, and Jeff Bezos and these people are like destroying our bank accounts and destroying our country and making it so hard for us to live. Like, it's okay with me if you take unemployment right now and save up when you don't necessarily really need it. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
It's just so gross.
When I bring that up, my purpose is not to point the finger at the doctors who are being pressured by this. It's not even at the hospital administration people who are saying no, like, we're listed as a COVID death. It's for the people in charge of our governments that are not helping these hospitals to begin with, that are not helping the people that they're sworn into office to serve. That's the whole problem. It goes up to the top, and I just feel like there's been an extreme lack of leadership on all fronts when it comes from like the state level to the federal level. There's no leadership. Nobody is uniting people, and that's the biggest thing that bothers me. Like, when you look across the street, I have friends who are super conservative. I have friends that are super liberal. We're all on the same fucking team.
Are we? I'm not on the same team as my super conservative friends. We're no longer friends.
That's interesting.
We're not on the same team. To me, well, actually, I should say, I have no problem with people who are super conservative. I grew up super conservative. I grew up super Christian. I grew up pro-life. I grew up like a lot of things that I'm not today. But I respect anyone opinion who's different than mine. But if you support Donald Trump today, and if you're going to vote for him today, you're no longer welcome in my life, period. Like, that's different than being conservative. Voting for Donald Trump and being a conservative person are completely different. And
He's not a conservative president.
no, he's a racist,
Yeah.
misogynistic, vile, repulsive human being who quite literally wants to see black people dead. And also, I say that saying, if you voted for him in 2016, that's okay. Like, that was then. But it's a different time now, and he's shown his true colors. And I don't have, we're not on the same team anymore.
Do you feel like you want to even have a conversation with people like that in terms of at least try to...
You wouldn't believe how many conversations I've had. I'm sorry I cut you off, but I have tried.
Oh shit, we're at 2 minutes. Okay, sorry
I've
about
spent... I'm actually thinking about posting screenshots of some of these conversations this weekend, because I don't think that like non-black people understand what we're fucking dealing with right now. Like, the novel texts that I have going with white people, conservative people that I grew up with, where I'm expressing like, let's talk about this. Like, let's meet in the middle. I want you to hear my experience. I'll listen to yours. This is why I don't like Donald Trump. And they just respond, but abortion. Like, that's the response to me saying, like, I deserve to be alive. Like, don't vote for Donald Trump because he's a threat to my life. And they're like, well, what about all the unborn babies? And I'm like, they're not even capable of having a conversation. And it's so exhausting and so infuriating. And I am like the most generous, giving person with my emotional labor. And it's really exhausting. And it's like taken an intense toll on my body. Like, I've lost weight and since all of this stuff happened, I can't sleep. Like, it's, yeah. So I've really tried, but you reach a point where it's clear that people don't actually respect you. And so you just have to kick them out of your life.
I want to... We have to take a break. I'm so sorry, but I'd love to continue this immediately. So we'll be right back. No, and I don't think... I think everything that we're just talking right now, which is so important. We're good. And I encourage everybody who's listening to this right now, whether you're watching this on YouTube, listen to the whole conversation, because I'm all about talking about the things that are uncomfortable, asking questions, because... And this will lead into your position. We, just as people, have to always keep in mind that everybody grew up in a different circumstance, in a different set of things, and a different life view, and with different genealogical DNA issues that cause you to look at the world in a certain way. But the things we can do is widen our perspective to see things from other people's perspectives and to at least begin to understand what another person is going through. Because I think as actors, what helps me and what's helped me go through life is trying to put myself, imagine I'm in this person's shoes by really imagining all the details, you know? And I'm like, oh shit, like, oh, of course I would think this way if I grew up this way. Or if my father or my mother or my uncle, my aunts, my cousins all said this about this type of people, then of course that's just literally how I view the world. And that's how I think the world is. And so to try to break from that is going to not just take a week, a day, or whatever. It's going to take constant, open conversation. So if you're listening to this, I highly encourage, keep an open mind. And be respectful of somebody else's views. And sometimes somebody might say something that... you know, that feeling that you just get angry right away. And,
Trigger.
And,
I think is what they call it.
Yeah.
Triggering?
Yeah. I don't know. There's some reason why
I know what
like,
you mean.
I hate using the word trigger now for some reason.
Yeah,
but it triggers me to say trigger.
Yeah. Actually, I get it completely.
But yeah, it that thing. So try to just listen. That's what I highly encourage you guys. And so we have some great fans of the show. So they typically tend to listen to the whole episodes. So, I definitely think that's immensely frustrating how whenever you're trying to tell somebody what you're going through and everything, and then they bring up non-related topics.
Things that have nothing to do with what you're talking about at all.
Right. And I think it's hard for people to do that in general. And I know that's such a simple thing to try to put yourself in somebody's shoes. It's very difficult for a lot of people to do. I'm not saying what they're doing is right by any means or defending them. I'm trying to understand where they're going through.
But you know what? I think it's harder for some people than others. And I think it's just harder for white people. Like people of color, we've had to do that our whole fucking lives. Like my entire life has been catering to the white spaces around me. And I mean, I grew up in all white spaces. It was like, if the white girls in my circle don't approve of me, like I'm out. Like I need to just constantly listen to what they think, appease their thoughts, like live in their world. And I mean, we were talking about this, like you're kind of going through this like personal realization and awakening with like that privilege of like, just when the world is catered to you, you actually don't have to think about other people's perspectives. I really, at least from my experience and conversations I've had with specifically white women in my life right now, they've not actually had to do that.
And to your point, I also think they don't have to. This is what I'm realizing about my own privilege. Like, not only do you not have to, because it also sort of speaks to this idea of freedom. You know, I think white people take freedom. White people in this country who were born here, they take that for granted. Like, oh, we were born with this right. I never even thought about freedom. I never even really thought about like the true meaning of like 4th of July or what that represents. And I think for so many people, even just in my family, when I'm having these really difficult conversations, it doesn't actually serve them to have to deal with white supremacy.
Right.
In fact, it actually benefits them to keep it going. And that's kind of the problem, you know? Like my grandmother, when I've had these conversations with her, a lot of it is, I'm scared of what change looks like. And I think
Which is valid. For anyone, change is scary.
She's so old, and I think she's probably scared that she's not going to get to see the light through it all. Like she's only going to get to see what she thinks is scary from her couch, you know, like on the TV with media, and she doesn't know what that looks like for her or ultimately, you know. But a big part of it, you know, is not wanting the change, because that is scary. But what if that change means that it doesn't serve her anymore, you know?
Right.
And we're flipping it on its head. And what does that mean for her and her family members?
And I think in reality, I mean, we've all seen the videos going around, and we're all talking about this, right? What Black people in this country are looking for is equality, not revenge. And in reality, if you compare America to like other countries, like our capitalist society, to like a place like Sweden, where it's all about rehabilitation and community, the entire population is so much healthier, both like physically and like health-wise, and also mentally and emotionally, because it's this idea of like, let's serve each other. Like, let's not leave anyone behind. But here we've been taught since birth, like it's me, I've got to like protect me and mine. And so there's this, because that's our mentality, we can't even imagine a world where it's like, if I heal you, you heal me too. And if I lift you up, that elevates me. And it's like this collective thing of, if we heal are hurting people of color and are hurting trans people and everyone who's hurting, that will like heal everyone and lift us up.
Exactly.
But the fear is that, you know, more for you means less for me, which doesn't have to be true. We've all been told that since we were born. So it makes sense that that's what she's afraid of.
I think for me, and so many people have said this. I know Kendrick Sampson says this a lot, which is like, we won't fully know true freedom, true liberation until everyone gets the opportunity to be liberated, until every single person has that opportunity. And I was telling you, I was listening to the this video of the descendants of Frederick Douglass, and they were all reciting his speech about 4th of July, famously. And what I found to be I never really understood why 4th of July, as of recently, was something that we shouldn't be celebrating. And what I realized by watching just that video was the reason why I'm dressed in all black today is because I can celebrate 4th of July, because I truly am free in this country. But you are not. And there are a lot of people who do not feel free yet, still, to this day. And that's why, you know, and that's why we're saying as a community, this is the point I wanted to get to too. And this is the thing that I tried to tell my grandmother to make her feel less scared and less like she wants change. Because I was saying to her, it's to your point, which is that you have to put energy into the communities, because ultimately that's what's going to make people feel safe. You know, it's not policing the streets. I don't feel safe because there's a cop down the street. I feel safe when the homeless population is being taken care of, and when there are like mental institutions that people can go to and get proper meds and feel good in their life. You know, I think that that's when I feel safe in the world, when I know that everyone feels taken care of.
Exactly. Yeah. Because if my neighbor's taken care of, I know I'm taken care of.
Then
and
your
I have your
neighbor-
back, so you have my back.
Exactly.
Rather than I'm going to hoard my food.
Exactly.
And not give you any and watch you die.
We could go on for days, sir.
No. And that's why I bring up the point of open conversation, especially with people who disagree with you. And that's when I say we're all on the same side. And I know it's extreme.
Oh, you meant the three of us.
No.
Oh, okay. You do mean like everyone.
Everyone, because we are in this country, all U.S. citizens, and I'm trying to invoke that realization that this divisiveness that's been going on it doesn't just show up there. It's always being implanted in us, and it goes up to all the way up to our leadership. The people who are in charge have always been in control of putting this divisiveness on our communities. A great example of keeping like ethnic communities down is like low-income neighborhoods, right? Their school districts get funded by the taxes that people pay in those low-income areas. So, of course, it's not a lot of money. So that means the school system suffers, less education. And when you have a person who's less educated, of course, they're going to have a much tougher time getting through in life.
Yeah.
And so that goes on the responsibility of our leadership throughout the ages, whether it be Republican or Democrat, conservative or liberal. It's been going on for decades and decades and decades and decades. This divisiveness hasn't just been here because of the Republican agenda. And it goes as far back as when this country was created. So that's why I'm looking at who is responsible truly for implementing and putting this idea in people's heads of hatred, of divisiveness, and racism. And it's the people in charge. That's where the cause is coming from. And it's very tolling on a person emotionally, it's heartbreaking when you look at your neighbor and your neighbor's like, fuck you, I hate you, you are free, what are you talking about, your feelings don't matter, when you've gone through all this shit in life. And you have a very unique experience, because if I'm not mistaken, you're half black and half white, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's also something I would love to talk to you more about. Like, how does that conflict, or how does that...
What trauma does that build?
And not just trauma, but like, wow, you have a very unique experience of an identity.
A lot of trauma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like your idea of self.
Yeah.
Now we're getting a little philosophical, but like your self identity is so like, whoa, I'm being pulled in two different directions here. Does that happen sometimes, or do you feel like just so outside of the box? That's something separate.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going back to, again, the idea of open conversation. There's a great video I pulled up again, and his name is, there's this very talented musician, and he's an R&B jazz musician, plays piano. I think he plays some other instruments, but piano mainly. And his name is Daryl Davis. Have you guys heard of him?
Mm-mm.
He's responsible for removing members from the Ku Klux Klan, not by force, but through open conversation.
That's amazing.
And through
Wow.
them inviting him like to their meetings and stuff like that.
That's
like,
insane.
And
Wow.
after they talked with him, and they were like, whoa, this is ridiculous. You know what I mean? The Ku Klux Klan,
Mm-hmm.
which if you look at that organization and group, is just embedded in such ignorant and racist views on the world, on people. And for him to like be able to change people's minds through the story, he talks about how it all started through his music. He shows up at this bar. He just joined this band, and he's playing piano. And he's like killing it, right? He goes up to the bar after their first set.
This is a white guy or a black guy?
He's a black guy. His name is Daryl Davis.
That's what I thought, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify.
Oh, sorry. I'm
this is
so,
Don't you know?
I'm so sorry. Sorry. I'm seeing the guy in my
His
mind.
name is Daryl Davis.
Hey, black guy named Daryl Davis.
wrong
Hello.
what I thought, but then I was like,
I know. I was waiting for the end once you said his name's Daryl Davis, and I thought like there would be another
but that was
reason.
Daryl Davis.
We got it.
he
You
seems
can
like,
picture
you know him, right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's
So
like when you're from Canada and everyone thinks you know every Canadian.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
so this white guy comes up to him as he's having a drink. He's like, "Man, you play music amazing. Like I haven't, heard music like that from. I haven't heard a black guy play music like that since this other white piano player." And he's like, "Well, that's kind of funny. You should say that because that white piano player has been influenced by like all these black musicians." And so they go on. They have they keep talking, and it's like kind of like this weird but like friendly conversation. Invites him to have a drink at the table with him, and he's like, "Oh, this is the first time I've had a drink with a black man." And he's laughing, and he's like, "Why is that?" And then eventually he tells him, "Oh, I'm in the Ku Klux Klan." And he's laughing because he's like, "No, you're not."
Yeah.
They exchange numbers by the end of the night, and he's like, "Next time you're in town, and come on over." And so they keep talking, and through the course of their relationship, this really odd relationship, he was able to change the minds of like a bunch of people who were embedded in racism. And then how does that affect those future generations, the children they have? So.
Right. I think that's an incredible story. I also think it's specific. There's like a set of circumstances that led to that happening. We can't always do that. We don't always have the time and the energy and the patience, and someone does not always deserve that respect. Like it has been 400 years. Tear down the statues. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm sorry. There is a time and a place for peaceful, like lovely conversation and patience and like leading someone by the hand to like do the right thing. And then there's times to riot and loot and light buildings on fire and tear statues down and demand equality. And I think both are equally valid, personally.
And it's effective.
Yeah.
Again, sort of going back to the point of you having these conversations with people in your life who either voted for Trump or just have different views than you, and how you actually tried to have the conversation with these people.
So many people.
And this is the thing that's really hard it's like what you were saying. It's really hard to sort of witness, like, I love you so much, and to know that this is like what you're spending your day on. Like I mean, this is something I said to you before, but a lot of what hurts me just as your friend to see is that you've been in pain for so long. You've been fighting for so long. And that's what I'm noticing so much with my black friends and my friends of color. You've been doing it for so long, and then to still have to be sitting down and patiently like using all of this energy to try to positively influence people in your life who are far away from changing and probably not going to.
Yeah.
That,
and who say they love me.
That to me is, I truly can't imagine how exhausted you are, how painful that must be, and how truly seemingly like hopeless, because it's hard to see the light sometimes when you're doing that,
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that.
I just wanted to, because it's a part of why I never really want to talk to you about a lot of this stuff, is because you're already doing so much work.
But there's a difference though. Like I genuinely, like conversations like this are with people who genuinely are capable of listening and want to learn is so different from conversations with people who don't, like, to put it quite simply, like, and I guess the reason I don't want to stop is, well, for one, I really love these people.
Yeah, you don't want to give up on them.
Yeah. And so when you've been friends with someone for like 15 years, or it's your aunt or something, like, I don't know, it's worth trying to fight for it, but also because of all of these conversations, one person called me on the phone And it was someone that I was in this group of friends with in high school. It's like all these white women and me, and 2 of them are great and 2 of them are trash and are no longer in my life. But one of them, after I sent this initial text and I was fighting with the other girls in this text, she just called me and she was like, with her husband on the phone, and she was like, hey, we do have different opinions from you, but we realize we're like white and we live in a bubble and there's so much we don't know, and we would love to just like listen to your experience for an hour. And they're like, oh, this might be weird and we're sorry to put that on you. You don't have to, but can we just like listen? And I was like, hell yeah. You can just listen and ask questions and even offer different opinions. But that coming at it from a place of like, I'm open, I want to listen, is very different from other things that were said, such as one of these girls said finally in like her last text, she was like, I have listened to you, I have heard your words. From my point of view, I've never seen you experience any oppression. You're a successful Hollywood actor and you were homecoming queen. I was like, oh my God. What?
Yeah,
that doesn't mean
That's very
anything.
foolish.
It just means that I've worked my fucking ass off and I'm a badass. And have you ever considered that it was succeed at all costs or become a statistic? Like maybe I've just had to work really, really, really hard and be 10 times better than everyone around me to succeed. That doesn't mean I haven't experienced pain. And also, if that's your logic, then how dare you claim you believe in God because you've never seen him either.
Oh.
So,
You know, that's an extremely foolish statement on her part.
Yeah.
Because again, hey, you're right, Wesam.
I concur.
Agree. No, because again, that is the opposite of what she said, and I'm comparing her to the Ku Klux Klan guy. At least the Ku Klux Klan guy.
You trying to say that?
I know.
say KKK.
I should just say KKK. I don't know why I said
Ku Klux Klan. Say that 10 times.
It's terrible. It's so hard to watch.
Ku Klux Klan.
I can't.
Some white
stand it.
supremacist is watching this, and he's like, "It's a Ku Klux Klan."
I can't. Yeah.
the clip.
That's not the clip.
That can't be the
That's
clip.
not the clip.
It's just the quote. It's
Happy
the
4th.
Jasmine's face. Just like,
Oh my God. So dark.
KKK. You can just say
KKK. The guy, at least that guy was like more open in terms of listening.
Yeah.
Like, oh, interesting. When somebody again shuts themselves off completely from the other person's perspective, that's where the divisiveness stays, and that's where the conflict will always stay. And I'm not saying you have your own set of experiences, and that's totally valid. And if you're tired and if you're frustrated, that's okay too. I can only imagine. And I don't know all the stories. Obviously, I've heard some of it. And if you feel like I'm done trying to talk with people, it sounds like you've been trying to talk with a lot of people. That's totally understandable too. Nobody has like an infinite amount of patience to talk with people who are ignorant either. That's just that's ridiculous to assume. Like, come on, Jasmine, be open all the time. I get it. We're all at different levels of that and different emotional states. And then again, it goes back to my central point. Like, we all come from different backgrounds. I really wish that people would just take a few steps back and look at the whole picture of really what's going on. I'm so sorry. I hate that we have to take another break, but when we come back, we're actually going to pour some Moscato and begin a slight shift in the conversation a little bit.
I'm going to take my shirt off.
What's Moscato?
It's alcohol.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
Wow.
Yeah, this
So
is this will be fun. So thank you for tuning in, and please continue to tune in if you're listening. This is again an open conversation, and we encourage respectful and stop talking. Respectful.
We're so respectful.
Comments and discussions in the comment section below. So we'll be right back.
Yeah, I've been jonesing for that a little bit.
Jonesing for what?
Just the conversation, where I don't feel like I'm just talking people's ear off. Just the conversation where I don't feel like I'm talking people's ear off and they're not like, I love having this conversation because it's everything that's on my mind right now. And even a lot of the conversations I am having are a lot with my family. And those can be difficult, really rewarding a lot of times.
What do those look like?
they've actually been kind of amazing, and they look differently with everyone. My grandmother, I think, has been the trickier one, but my mom actually really surprised me. So she works in government housing in South Carolina, so she basically gets to choose who gets like free government homes in the state.
Wow.
And her boss is this black man. I actually met him when I went back home. And he was so lovely, and he was telling me about his story and his sister. Like, he was just telling me about his life, you know. And I just met him. I was like, she always likes me to come and meet the people in her office, and so we were just talking. And I know him, and he's a really sweet guy. And she actually had a conversation with him about what's happening, because she wanted to ask him, you know, do we need to put something on the site to show our support for Black Lives Matter, or like, how do you want to initiate that kind of response in, you know, within the business. I guess it's not a business, but you get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And she was having just really beautiful, she was explaining to me how she approached him, and was just like, first it kind of started with like the details of the work in putting Black Lives Matter, and do we want to support it? Like, how do we want to come at that? And then she just said, can I just ask you what your experience has been like being sort of the head of this company, you know, and being the person in charge, like as a boss? Do you ever feel like, what has been your experience, not even here, but just in your life? And he was really open with her. And I just thought, I was so impressed with her that she took that initiative. Because first of all, it's her boss, and she doesn't have enough. I mean, she hasn't educated herself, I think, enough on the subject matter to feel really confident in that conversation, but she still took initiative to do it. And I was super proud of her for that. And look, she says a lot of things that are very ignorant, and I don't always call her out, because I don't always want her to feel like I'm pushing her down and not giving her a place to grow, because I'm proud of even just a little bit of progress she's made. And so it's trying to find that balance of teaching and helping and encouraging, but also letting her know when she's just straight up wrong about some stuff, you know. She literally said to me, well, I was worried that if we put Black Lives Matter on the website, then, you know, because we also work with a lot of, I forget, I think she just said like different ethnic groups, you know, and I don't want them to feel like I was isolating other ethnic groups or whatever. And I just sort of was talking to her about that more. But my mom has been really open and really excited for me. I've been talking to her just about my experience at the protests, and she loves hearing about it. She kind of wishes she was here to experience it, I think. Wow. It's hard to understand. Like, I'll call her when I'm coming home, and I have so much energy.
Right,
and I'm
the
just
power
like,
of those.
Totally, in the stories, you know, and I just can't. It's hard to explain it to people. Like, you really do just have to feel it, you know? But my grandmother has been really tricky. Sorry, I'm just going on and on and on. You can edit this though.
This is all amazing. I'm tuned in. Are you tuned in?
Yeah.
I'm sort of rambling a little.
No, you're not. You're not.
But so my grandmother, I find this really fascinating. So she called me like a week after the protest started, and she knew that I was protesting, and she said, I'm worried about you. And I was like, well, what are you worried about? And she was like, that you're being really negative, and that you think that this world is a really negative place. And I was like, well, what makes you think that? And she said, protests. One word, protests. And I said, oh, well, it's exactly the opposite. I mean, this is actually the most positive I've felt about the world that I'm living in now. I'm inspired by it. I'm encouraged by it. I'm literally like, you know, I feel energized by it in a way that I haven't felt with a lot of things. I had never protested before. I've lived in LA for 20 years.
You didn't go to the Women's March?
Not the Women's March, none of it. I wasn't in town for most of them. I was like away for a lot of them. But even when I was in Alabama, there was a protest, and I didn't go. I don't know why. I just never went. And so to be a part of this movement in such a way, I think it's changed me. And it's, you know, I do have a lot of family guilt just because of where my ancestors come from, I think. And you know, my grandmother, her dad was in the KKK, and she has stories about seeing people being lynched in her yard, and, you know, like really gnarly. Yeah. So I think a lot of that is what has, you know, I had a lot of unrest in me for a long time, because I couldn't And then I started identifying all these things. Like when I spoke to you and I was like, I realized why I had been thinking about you so much. I mean, obviously I love you, but I'd been thinking about Jasmin so much. I was dreaming about you so much. And I realized it's because I had seen you in pain. I knew that you were in pain. I knew that you were suffering before this movement came alive for us all to witness, you know? And I just never asked you more about it. I never put energy into that because why, who knows, you know, I'll do work on that, you know, but, and it really broke my heart that it took this, it took all of this. It took me being in the street. It took me hearing the stories. It took me really seeing your presence online and seeing what you're going through to go like, no, like we must do better. We must do better. I will have the hard conversations. One more story. Please. Okay. One more story.
I love your stories.
Please.
So, I'm not big on Facebook. I've always hated Facebook, like truly hate it. But I have like really good pictures on there that I will never be able to get back. So I kind of keep it.
You know, you can just download your pictures. When you go to delete your Facebook, it automatically gives you an option. Do you want to download all your pictures? And
really?
You just click the button and it just automatically downloads them all to your computer for you.
And
it does.
Eye-opening and probably going to change my life for the better. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. And my grandmother is so annoying on Facebook. Like,
oh, she's one of those. Like post.
I mean, I get it. She's on that couch for a long time and she's not leaving the couch. But she's one of those people who's just like share. Not even reading the stuff she posts, like real dark. So she posted this thing, and I don't know why this was so infuriating to me, but I was finally like, okay, and I never respond on Facebook. I never engage. I never do anything. Like the only time was when I was like looking for yoga studios for, the short we did, and I went on Facebook to ask. Like that was it. So I responded to a post that she said that was a shared post that was like, I don't think any of us give a damn about what or I don't think most of us give a damn what skin color you have. Good people are good people and bad people are bad people. Like, that's it. Like, that was the post. So stupid, by the way, right? What is that post? Like, what is that post? What are you even trying to say? I don't know. So,
I don't know. So.
That was a very Britt.
I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to say. So I attacked. No, I didn't really attack, but I felt like I said something that was kind of good. Can I read it to you? Oh, wait, I don't have my phone. I don't know. That's good, okay. But I think the idea was like, because this is the first, the idea was just like, I think it's really, is that my phone? I think it's better if I just read it.
Yeah, of course.
Is it better if I read it? Is that cool?
Yeah.
I was just proud of it because I felt like I'd covered what was trying to.
Sorry, Jasmin farted.
Oh, no? Yeah. Whatever.
I hate you.
While you're finding that, let me know when you find it.
Find it.
No,
you
I
found
love
it?
you.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
shouldn't say I hate you because I love you.
Love you.
Hate's a strong word.
Yeah. So, I said, I think it's important to care what someone's skin color is, especially if that someone is a person of color. As a community who cares about the goodness of humanity, we must do our best to respect how much more difficult and oppressed their experience has been on this earth, and do our best every day going forward, seeing that color as a badge of honor and loving those people even more for all the pain that we have knowingly or unknowingly caused. Supporting people of color in any way that we can, even if those people have done bad things. All people do bad things, but we can't give up on each other because all Black lives matter and all lives can't matter until Black lives do. And that's how we can keep being good people. Because that's what the post was. The post was,
I love it.
Was like, good people are good people and bad people are bad people. It's like, no, you actively choose. Like the decisions in your life that you are making, you know.
Would she respond? Or did she?
No one responded.
At all?
No. And it's amazing because she's a very active Facebook. People are like, but I think because it was me and I've never responded to any of her crazy stuff.
But you know they read it and you know it affected them.
I think so. Because I also don't think that was like judgmental. I think it's just like.
No, that was pretty loving.
Right?
Especially for a nasty Facebook
just
area.
Ridiculous. So those are the kinds of conversations I've been trying to have so that they don't isolate me in a way that I feel like I no longer have their ear.
Right.
I do think I still have their ear.
You do. And you're such a kind, sweet, loving, giving person. Like, even if you're having a really hard conversation, just because the core of you is so good, it's going to come out in a way that's palatable and that's like loving. And I think that's one of your strengths.
Thanks.
It's really interesting how intention is a lot of times very clear when people are doing certain things. You know, even if they can't really articulate it, intention. Like, why is this person saying this? I have a few friends. When I say a few friends, maybe I can only think of one that's coming to mind, or a couple. When they say they're conservative and they legitimately do not understand the problem whenever you say, like, all lives matter. It's like this block in their minds, all lives matter, right? It shouldn't, like, all lives matter. And it's like, yeah, but right now, like, Black lives don't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why that's being said. It's not saying they're better than all other lives or white lives.
It's a distinction that must be. You have to make the distinction that they can't matter. All lives cannot matter until Black lives do.
Right. Versus someone who's going like, I don't know. I feel the intention is different. Like, all lives matter. Like, it's like that really intense, like, hatred of, like, I don't know. There's this weird intention thing that I can
Fear. They're scared.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just fearful.
Well,
Ooh, you're gonna let us drink now?
well, I was gonna say this.
Alcohol.
Do we pick up our own?
Yeah, of course.
Will you hand me mine? Because I'm positioned. Thank you.
I'm positioned.
I know, but he didn't get it. Okay.
This is.
Okay.
I don't know if this is gonna sound weird, but
I love you.
I love it.
no. I really like everything that you guys have been. The intentions behind everything you guys are doing and posting about, I think, is admirable, and it's been going in the right direction, and I really hope, and I'm starting to see it, I believe, some really positive change come about it, and yeah, that's all.
Gotta be hopeful. Gotta be hopeful.
I just say I appreciate you guys. Is that weird to
you.
say? I feel like that's
No,
weird.
I think that's great.
Jasmine's making me feel weird.
Say it. Say it more.
yeah.
I love you guys so much.
No, I just
Yeah.
appreciate you guys.
I
a lot,
appreciate
and
you.
Appreciate you too.
It's a weird time. Not a weird time. It's a changing time. Yeah, that's the better way.
It's
And,
a good
yeah.
time, actually. It's just like,
Yeah, it is a good time.
it's so ugly, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's
So-
good to be that we're addressing
I
it,
appreciate
know?
you for giving us this opportunity to speak together today. I brought you here today. That was it.
That was it.
And
Delicious.
Fuck, I love Moscato so
Never had
Yeah.
this.
well,
much.
I think
Oh,
like a
thank
pear?
you.
it's Alex's favorite
delicious.
favorite drink.
It's one of mine too. It's like so good after dinner for a dessert wine.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Well,
sitting on a
listen,
rooftop in
delicious.
Sweden.
Well, listen, I think since we're drinking a little bit, you know what actually sounds really good?
We should take our tops off.
She's been
Whoa.
really wanting to take her
I
top
know, I
off,
can
and,
tell. Like, hey,
and
you
I
know.
think she should.
Okay.
I support it. Wow, what's this?
This is a little happy birthday for you.
Birthday.
Oh wait.
What?
To
No.
no one's singing
Yeah, this
with
is-
me.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh my gosh, this is so sweet.
30, because you turned 30.
I did turn 30.
and
Stop.
and here comes
Oh my
Dirty,
gosh.
flirty.
and we don't have candles because we don't want to spread COVID, but I have an app that has a.
Oh, that's so
Born.
sweet. Oh, I'm really into
So happy birthday to you, Britt.
this. Oh, thanks, guys.
Happy birthday to you.
Britt.
To you.
Happy birthday
to you. Happy
Happy
birthday, dear Britt.
What is going
Happy birthday to you. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Here's
That
the
was
candles.
me trying to blow it out, but I think I just spit everywhere.
Yeah, you did.
but you
Here you
don't
go.
have
Blow them
COVID,
out.
so
Blow
it's
them
okay.
out.
Do I do it in my mask?
Hey, it worked.
Yeah, we did it.
happened?
COVID is
I
so
can't
weird.
even- There we go.
Homemade cheesecake by Alex.
Stop!
Oh, that is
I
so
saw you making it
nice.
on the gram. It was
Yeah.
for me.
It was for you.
Do you guys want to shove it into my face? Just kidding. We need to eat
Yeah,
it.
I do.
No.
You do?
Oh.
Yeah. You're like, please,
No,
please.
no, no. She's like, how dare you?
Absolutely.
I agree. I'm really into this Moscato.
It's really good.
You're supposed to sip it, but I just kind of chug it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like apple juice.
Yes.
So
yeah,
good.
it's just like apple juice.
Seriously, I've been really enjoying these conversations, and one of the reasons why I wanted you guys to come on here was 4th of July, and that's one of the things that I really appreciate because I'm an immigrant to this country, me and my family,
know.
and this type of freedom to talk about the wrongs that our government is the cause of, I think is really important because in a lot of countries that you
Are you burping? What is
I
going
don't know.
on?
I'm burping so much.
I could tell
I think
he
it's
was
the Moscato.
emotional.
COVID. Yeah, I just yeah, I appreciate it.
That was so funny.
Much that he
Yeah,
Yep.
you're a goofball today.
I'm a little bit of a goofball. I've been wanting to get more silly with you guys, but
know.
I you know,
we can be silly now.
yeah, I know. We've
Maybe
gone-
we just take a tiny piece that I shove in her face.
Yeah,
just like a little
we
cut.
got to eat on camera and tell the
Yeah,
world
actually,
how good
yeah.
it
Do
is.
we have a knife?
Is it? Is it
that okay?
vegan by
Yeah.
chance?
Would you like to?
I mean, I can. Is there cream in it? Is really the question.
mean,
I'll have a bite.
Yeah.
I'll have a bite.
Yes,
I'll have
the
one
most
bite.
cream. yeah.
It's cream cheese. It's the goddamn name. Okay, so next time.
I made a vegan
No, go-
cheesecake last week, so
Yeah. Yeah.
hop
You
off.
guys
Yeah.
are so
God,
funny.
Jasmine.
We Sam.
I can't wait to listen to the episode I'm in on your podcast.
It's beautiful.
Is it really?
It's
I'm
really
scared
good.
to listen to mine. I'm gonna be like, oh man,
No, yours is great. We were talking about whether or not it should be like the opener
yeah.
for the season.
That's
I can't
cool.
wait.
You'd be down.
I just want to send a direct link to my parents and be like, just in case you're curious about my sex life.
I think mine was like kind of like
Yours was philosophical.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was the most philosophical.
Yeah. I wanted so bad to have Charles in here, but I wanted to
Oh.
do the setup with the three because I fourth person we might had to do it in there just because
Yeah.
there's so many mics. But anyway,
I miss
We could
Charles.
call him real quick.
I miss Charles.
that's not.
I
cool.
was.
I saw him not too long ago.
You
I
did?
love that guy.
Yeah,
love
Yeah.
him.
she's a pretty face.
He's also
So
on the
pretty.
podcast.
Gosh, what is?
That's all
remember
he
those
is.
teeth? Remember, I would always be like, "Gosh, Charles, you have the best teeth. What is going on?
One of
it's
my-
amazing."
one of my-
He does have good teeth.
he literally like ding. Reminds me of that Ross episode or the Friends episode
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Ross.
yeah.
Ding.
Yeah. I was so impressed that he knew Shakespeare. I remember that time we started quoting that Hamlet monologue
Yeah,
in front of
you
you.
were like hamleting off, and I
He's
was
the
like,
most well-read human. I
Yeah.
can't.
It's annoying, to be honest.
The highlighters. Do we remember? He would bring the highlighted books.
Oh yeah, and I'm like, you
We get it.
you
You
can't
read.
read. You're just pretending.
I do that.
Oh yeah, you do that too. Yeah,
I
I
have
forgot about
tabs
that.
in my
You
book.
I know.
also
I remember
can't
that was amazing.
read.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you do
In
that.
case I want to go back to it, I just know my.
No, it's
Cliff
cute.
notes.
Yeah.
It's
So cute. I find it so endearing. I'm just
cute.
like, I can barely get through a book right now. I can't do anything. I can't read. I can't watch TV. I can't listen to music. It's like weird. My brain is so it's just moving
Yeah.
fast.
Dude, we just had a war board meeting.
Warboard?
Yeah,
What is
warboard.
that? Is that a
It-
game?
No, it's a we did a Zoom with four of my friends, Peyton, William, Jonte, and Isaiah, and me, and we kind of strategized what we're gonna do for the rest of the year. We checked in with each other, see what's going on.
Vision board.
Yeah, I like war board better, a
Seem-
little bit
turns
more
it
aggressive.
Into war. Very Wesam.
Yeah, very recent.
A lot of flowers.
do.
You know, pretty pictures.
No flowers, desolate, apocalyptic wasteland. Think-
Naked women.
Commune. You know, there's a commune.
What? Wait, is the communist like?
It's
What?
community.
Oh,
Is
okay.
that right?
I think
Commune.
I was thinking hippies, and I was like,
I think
nah.
of like a, like a homestead, like a bunch of people owning land
Communal living.
together with like a garden. Yeah.
Yeah, with a garden. Gotta
a
be
commune
garden.
of warriors.
Why is it always about war or warriors?
Because that's
or
how it's his mindset, man.
Because I knew you would be affected by it
we?
and triggered.
Why
does
do you
make me
guys
burp a
hate the
little.
word triggered? I'm not,
I don't hate it. It's
You
great.
said you
There's
didn't
some
like
burping.
it
Yeah.
either.
Just a reminder, Britt, to
I-
keep this kind of close.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's good.
Burp into the mic.
I know. I was just getting crazy with the drinking. No, triggering. It's funny. I understand the idea that it's triggering to hear the word trigger. I think I sort of feel the same sentiment, which it reminds me of therapy and all the things that I'm like working. You know, it like
Oh,
puts me
yeah.
back in my mind where I then have to go like, oh, but I feel this way because of this, and it's like, just operate, girl. You're
Yeah.
a fine working machine. Just get out there and live. You know.
Yeah. I get annoyed with it because I think I'm a very
dripping.
empathetic person to a certain degree. There's things that annoy me, obviously.
Yes.
And like really ridiculous. I know I've been talking this whole time. Always keep in mind the other people's, perspective and stuff, but sometimes like over sensitivity to certain things online and everything like that, people who make themselves out to be victims when they're not victims and actually undermine real victims, that's the stuff that annoys me, and they'll use the word trigger, and so that association has happened.
Got it.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you feel like it's desensitized. It's been like the word has somehow lost its meaning.
It's been abused by people who want to be victims but are not victims. And those are the type of people that annoy me, probably one of the most type of people that annoy me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really love you guys so much.
I love you too.
I like can't explain the feeling in my stomach.
Yeah.
It's like deep just gratitude and love, and I just want to like
Oh, that's wonderful.
curl you up in a ball and just carry you around with me.
Little pocket people.
That's great.
Like I just
That's great.
love you so much.
Oh, I love you too.
So much.
And I hate to say this in the middle of that sweet thing. Could you move the mic closer to your face so I can hear you? Thank you.
Technical difficulties.
And that's why I love you. That right there.
He couldn't focus
You know how,
on
like,
how. Oh, the cake's arrived. Okay, let's put
big shout out to Alex.
big shout out to Alex.
Alex, gracias. Thank you. Oh, dude.
Wow, I'm so excited.
Now this is gonna be a little bit of a.
Thank you.
Just the
I'm
tip.
really just gonna have a bite.
What? What is it? A book?
And
Book.
I might.
The Korean thing for eating things on air. Mukbang. There's gonna be a little bit of a mukbang.
Oh my God, this is delicious.
That's the word for eating things on air.
Oh
yeah,
my
like
God.
a live stream eating.
Wow.
It's like ASMR, kind of.
ASMR.
Yeah. People like, oh, do you have misophonia?
Oh my god.
Misophonia.
It's what Camille has.
Hatred of sound.
It literally means hatred of sound, but for most people, it is. Some people can be repetitive, like a clock ticking or someone tapping their nails. That's what Camille's is, and so what that is, we did all this research. It goes back to caveman days when people were eating other people, cannibalism, and you might hear the crunch of literally like your mom being like eaten by a predator, and so you
my
had to take off
God.
running, and it activates fight or flight. And so Camille literally, if she hears like mouth sounds or chewing, is filled with rage and like can become like violently angry. Yeah, basically.
I believe in that. I so believe in the transference of like trauma.
It's a thing. Like she can't handle the chewing, the swallowing. We have to have music on, or we have to eat in separate rooms.
I know. So good.
I'm by myself and I'm eating because I can't stand my own sugar.
It's a thing. You're not crazy. It's a real genetic thing. So yeah, ASMR is not for you.
Oh my goodness.
So good.
That was ridiculously good. Oh,
So
man.
good that neither of you finished.
I can't. I won't be able to.
I'm sorry, Britt. I'm gonna let Jasmine finish her laughing.
Yeah, that's not funny.
That's not funny. That's not cool.
This is Alex.
No, I'm laughing at you. Like you think it's funny. She got it. The joke.
Why don't you have a
Y'all-
bite?
I can't eat dairy. Do you want me to fart it up in here?
Yo.
Oh,
it's funny-
dude!
Yo, it's funny you say that because like, I'm not gonna lie. My tummy was hurting this morning, and I was like, oh, I couldn't. I had shrimp yesterday. I never eat shrimp, and I feel like it's been like messing with me.
Yeah.
This morning I woke up and I was like, God, my belly hurts. It was the shrimp. It was the shrimp. And I was like, it's okay. Like, let's just not have anything. So just now I was eating the cheesecake, and I was like, oh, delicious. And I was like, well, let's not go crazy. I could start farting up in here. So I feel you on that.
If you can fart. We can both fart.
I had
Let's
buffalo
hotbox him.
farts last night, and I
Wait,
still do.
Sam.
What's that mean?
Oh, you don't know?
No, you've
When I eat
told me about your buffalo farts.
Yeah, I eat buffalo meat, bison meat,
It's so gross. And he gets buffalo farts.
and they smell horrible. And I want to do a show with you.
No.
I wanted to do the podcast where
If
I ate a bunch
you
of buffalo and came and just farted the whole time.
What did you say?
I would
Buffalo
deserve
and-
that. To be honest, I deserve that.
Bison. Buffalo and bison.
Why? So maybe if your body's
Listen.
reaction to that meat is bad farts, that's your body telling you not
We
to
don't want
eat
bison.
it.
It smells like sour rubber.
So that your body doesn't agree with it. Stop. Why do you
body
keep
doesn't want
eating
that
it?
bison.
I love it. I feel strong when I eat bison. Look at this.
He
Wait,
just
Sam.
wants that protein.
He
He's
just
trying to get those muscles.
you drive me insane.
Yeah, because I want to fart. I want to. Oh man, you deserve to smell my smelliest fart.
I know.
I don't though, and I'm in
Can I-
between you and her. So let's just be. It's my birthday. We got
Wait,
cheesecake.
you missed my birthday too.
I know.
When
I
was
was
your
gonna
birthday?
say
Where
that
the
in
fuck
March.
is my cake?
Wait,
Is
when's
it
your
like
birthday?
23rd?
March 21st. Just
Oh.
like 2 days before Brit.
How old did you turn?
26.
Nobody gives a
Not
shit.
as important. 'cause it's
Yeah,
30.
nobody gives a shit. Give me a break.
30, quarantine, big deal, big
Okay,
deal.
Fine.
26 years old.
Where were you on my 25th? You didn't come.
I didn't want to.
Oh, it's so harsh. It's so harsh. I hate that.
No, not when was it? It was obviously last year.
And I had that house in Malibu, and it was the talent show, and you were like,
Oh my
I
God,
miss
the talent
him.
show.
I might come, and you didn't come.
You want to?
Yeah,
wait,
but
oh,
same
that
with
thing.
his,
No,
same with her 24th.
I was filming.
You didn't come to my 24th either. I don't know if he was invited to
No,
my
I was
24th.
back in Tulsa.
Oh, you
that
were
time.
invited
I
to
was
my
going
24th.
back to visit my dad. Remember?
That was when we did the weed dinner, the 24th.
Yeah, 24th. was
And
the weekend.
reggae was there, and that was the most I've ever
We
gotten.
watched an episode of the show
We
with all your
did?
friends.
Why did we do that?
I don't know. I
Why
wasn't
did you
down.
make people watch you?
I know.
No, it was cute. It was cute.
Remember that when we were on the show together?
I
You watched
remember.
her demo reel for her birthday.
Shut
That's what
the
she put
fuck
on. That's so
We
fucking
did, yeah.
weird.
I know.
Shut
and
up.
just old footage of her from like childhood.
My audition reel, all 500 auditions that I hadn't booked. I
Oh
just
my God.
back to back.
And I think I didn't get this one because I did this part of this character. But
But that's
But you know who did get this part? I'll tell you who got this, and I did it way better in the audition.
That's actually a fun character. To
It's
play.
actually such a good bit.
roast me and then roast Britt. Go.
Right now?
Yes,
No,
I
have a
love
hard
your
time
roasts.
with roasting.
Oh, you
You
do?
don't want to be roasted?
I mean, you don't want to be
Oh,
roasted
that's
now.
okay, never
I feel
mind.
like I'd like it. I feel.
I
Like
think
I'd
you
like
would. I love when you do your Brit impressions. And you go.
it. That's so accurate.
Dude, I just imagine you in that that suit, that power suit from For the People, and you're just in the middle of Paramount Road, just going, and you have sides in your hand. It's 6 a.m. and I'm like, that's Britt.
Oh my gosh, it's so
Truly
funny.
warms my heart.
My one friend Nick is so funny because like she didn't know me when we were doing the show, and she recently just bought like the whole season of For the People, and so she's like watching me in my little power suit, like
Yeah.
doing the
You're
summations.
so cute in your
and
suit.
she's like, "What in the maturity is going on the show?"
What in the maturity? That's funny.
Because I'm such a, and then it's like.
I'm
know,
Sandra
and-
Bell.
yeah.
Free
This is not. I know. I don't even know words that I
the
said
guy.
on that show anymore.
Remember when
I
we
don't remember anything.
No,
Here's
wait,
what I'm
what'd you
happy
say?
was never released. That interview we did.
My God, I can't.
Can we?
We have to share that now.
We
What
have
was
to
the
find
word?
it.
Adversary.
Adver or adva? We still
Do
don't
you
know.
know?
So we did an interview together during the what's it called when you do like
The press.
Was this
junket,
for
the
TV
TCAs.
Guide?
This is the TCAs.
It might have been TV Guide. Yeah, it was
Okay.
the TCA's the first year, and we were doing the interview, and it was a great day. We're going,
So
we're feeling so
amazing.
confident. She's asking about our characters, and then she goes, "So, who would you say is each of your characters' biggest adversary?" And we both went silent. And Britt looks at me. She goes, "Do you take the lead on this, Jazz?" And I went, no, Britt, I'll let you take the lead. You go first. And she goes, and she looks at me, and we both go, I would say my biggest adversary is each other, actually. Neither of us knew what the word
Sometimes
meant.
it's good. Sometimes it's bad.
Yeah, and then we leave, and we look it up, and it means enemy.
I was like, I knew I should have said Leonard.
But we both were like, let me think on that. In my brain, I'm like, do I know this word? Do I know this word?
Oh,
It was the most embarrassing.
couldn't figure it out. I was like, advisor.
Yeah.
I can see you. Advisory. All the little Brits in your head are like,
All the little Brits in her head are going,
Figure it out. I'm using my mask to wipe my tears. There's just too much, what do they call it? Droplets.
oh, my stomach hurts. Oh, my stomach hurts. Wait, you still haven't roasted me.
Oh, wait. I just wanted to tell the TV Guide story I had because I had a bad
Oh.
interview that
Oh,
same
no.
day, too.
Couldn't be
It wasn't
worse.
bad. It was just like, we can't use any of this stuff because they didn't know who they were talking to, apparently.
Wait, they thought you were someone else.
No, they didn't realize the answers I would give would be like not their traditional answers.
No way.
Yeah, so I was doing it with Ben, and poor
Which
Ben.
Ben?
Ben Rappaport.
Okay.
And poor Ben was just like, who the hell is this guy?
Oh, because you guys hadn't worked together at all
No.
at that
Oh,
point.
right. Yeah, at
No.
that point you hadn't at all.
We had worked on another pilot
gosh,
called
crying.
Zubiquity.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
We'll pick up another one.
More
on the way back.
Moscato?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I need
So
a tissue.
the lady
Nice.
goes, she's from TV Guide, and she's like super bubbly and fun. And she's like, what is your worst fear? And Ben gives, a typical answer
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm totally scared of heights. I don't want to get next to heights."
I can't wait.
You can picture Ben.
Yeah, I'm looking
Oh, I
over
can't
at Ben.
wait
I'm
for
going,
your answer.
"Oh." And literally, I can't think of anything else except this. And I just go,
no.
"Oh, failing my creator."
Oh,
And the
Whoa.
whole room, there's like people, and everybody's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh, that."
terrible.
And I was like, "Oh, that really brought the mood down." Bear attacks.
Oh my god, you guys, that's so funny.
Failing
Yeah.
my creator.
I have to pee. I'm worried. I'm gonna pee in my pants.
Dude,
I know I might pee as well.
followed by bear attacks.
Oh my god, followed by bear attacks. Well,
That is
that's
so
That's actually
Wesam.
legitimately the order of things I fear, because a bear will.
How
about right.
often are you where a bear is?
No, you don't want to be. No,
Griffith Park. when he
Bears?
does That hike thing.
there's no. I'd rather be killed by a
There's no-
mountain lion.
Why
That's
are
a
you
quick
so
death.
afraid of bears? You're never around a bear.
I know, but the way bears are monsters. Okay, a grizzly bear is a real-time monster.
Okay.
It'll eat you butt first, and you're still alive.
Oh, that's
okay?
That sounds
terrible.
fun.
Do you
That's
wanna
the
d-
worst way to get eaten.
just-
Butt first, so your head's aware, like your brain knows what's happening, that your butt's getting eaten.
You're a pervert.
No, I'm not a pervert.
You are a
know
big
what you mean.
pervert.
I'm not a
saying it
pervert.
on my show.
I'm not a pervert. I'm a sexual woman, and it scares you.
Yes.
I was talking about being eaten alive by a bear butt first, and you're like,
you.
"Ooh, I like that. Yeah, eat my
Some
butt."
people,
And I'm like,
some people like a little butt eat.
little butt stuff.
"Have you ever heard a deer?" Oh yeah, go ahead.
Go pee.
No, go pee. Go pee.
Go pee.
That would help us with the subscribers if you don't mind.
If she peed on her.
Yeah.
You want to fight?
Okay.
You know,
I don't
I
like
don't
you.
like you.
Are you doing
Are
this
you
thing where you
doing
copy
this
what I
thing where you
say?
copy what I say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Everybody just left
just
this episode
Left this episode
because it's just you and me.
Because it's just you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pinch you as hard as I can.
I'm gonna pinch you as hard as I can. No, don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! I'm gonna spill the alcohol. I'm gonna spill the alcohol.
said it. And
You can't do it. You can't. If you do it as hard as you can, I'll bleed. You're strong. No, you're strong.
bruise.
I can't be bruised.
Why?
I'm a precious being.
We're all precious beings.
We see him.
But
Then set this down. Pinch me.
And for anybody going, "Oh, you can't pinch a woman," I believe in equal rights. I'll pinch anybody.
Pinch me
Man,
then.
Woman.
I'm gonna
binary,
pinch you back.
non-binary. Binary is both things, but that's one.
If you pinch me, I'll pinch you.
That's fine.
Oh, that wasn't that bad.
See. This was weird. This was weird. This didn't
We
go as
see
I
him.
thought it would go.
Please roast me.
Okay.
Should we wait for Britt?
Yeah, we'll wait for Britt. Okay. I need some. Why did I put this on? I need some. No, I don't need anything. It's hard to roast you. Like,
It is?
yeah, don't you need like accomplishments like to roast people?
Sometimes I forget that you're an asshole.
Did you hear what I said?
No.
She's like, roast me. I'm like, okay, but don't you need accomplishments to be roasted?
Wow.
I'm
friend. I'm kidding. You're a jokester. He's a jokester.
He's a
We know
jokester.
He's a jokester.
He's a
We
jokester.
all know you're a very accomplished artist and a human being. And I hate that I have to say
And
that.
a human being. We all know that you're a human being.
Yeah. Well, I
Good
have
compliment.
to say that.
Yeah, well, I have to say that.
I don't. Why do I even want to be roasted?
Roast
by
me.
you? No, roast me.
Oh, okay.
Your farts are so funny that.
Thanks for shaving your legs.
I didn't shave them for you.
Oh, who'd you?
I
shave
just
them
said
for?
thanks for shaving them. I
You
didn't
know
say for
who I
me.
shaved them for.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you're dating somebody. Oh, I can't. Oh, sorry. I'm just kidding.
I'm-
Blah.
Hey, it's
I
20.
know.
Also, by the way, she shaved them for herself. Whenever you shave, it's because you're, doing. It's not true. Sometimes I shave for other people, but
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot lately for myself
Good.
because no one's been touching.
I
me.
still need you to roast me.
Okay.
Why do I need him to roast me? Should I call my therapist? Why do I want that?
Can I get an
so
example?
bad?
Like whenever, like how to roast?
But you like roast Britt all the time. I just want that same attention.
Oh, interesting.
I roast Britt all the time. That wasn't a roast. That was. Oh, you want me to do an impression of you?
I don't know.
You don't even know what you. Okay, this is me walking into the makeup trailer, 10 minutes before I'm called on set. I'm
No,
already ready to
actually,
go.
this is amazing. I know exactly what he's gonna do.
And Jasmine's been in that makeup trailer since 4:30 a.m. every single day.
Getting her hair dried and falling asleep. Oh, sorry. Yes, the face though. Your face.
I haven't like you look dead. You look so dead.
So done.
I've seen like actual dead people not look as dead.
It's actually the chin position of where your resting face goes that makes you realize how asleep you are.
Britt, let's do it together.
It retreats back.
Yeah. And I'm
It
like,
goes back, and it's just it's so still and so just all one.
The amount of pictures you have of me like that.
oh, so
so
many,
good.
so many.
Oh man, those were
Yeah.
the days.
Also just-
I would get there at like 5:02 a.m. and everyone else would arrive at like 7:15.
No, I know.
It was all for this guy.
for the hair, but I mean, remember when you had
Looked
bangs?
good. I did.
Those were cool.
I miss bangs. If my pilot doesn't get picked up, I'm chopping off my hair.
Yeah.
Gone. You'll do a little gurgle.
COVID?
I just needed to.
Oh hi.
Oh, well, there's some water. Yeah, that's fine. Totally fine. Well, I was gonna say this. Was that a good enough roast?
Yeah,
That's
Okay.
actually
that was
perfect.
pretty good.
Now roast me.
I can't.
I can't.
What?
We both. That's not our strong suit.
I don't know.
We're like
I'm-
sweet
I'm
Aries
not gonna be
gals.
upset. You guys look like scared to roast me. People are gonna think like he hits.
I don't know
It's
it.
like a self-conscious. Like I can't do trivia.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
can't
Me
like.
either.
I can't roast someone. It's like quick-witted humor. I can't.
I think if you guys are very quick-witted. I think you don't give yourself enough credit.
For
Thank
me, I think
you.
it's like more. I just feel like everyone has so many ideas. Like for trivia, I'm very.
Oh, I get so stressed.
Everyone has all these great ideas, and I just think yes, and then I try to come up with one, and I'm like, no, all these seem so great and so much better, and then I was kicked out of a trivia team because I was too supportive.
What the fuck?
That's
Swear.
the most Brit thing. Too
Who the
supportive.
fuck kicked you out?
I mean, I didn't contribute. Like, I didn't have any ideas. So I feel like that was more it. But they said it nicely, which was I was too supportive.
It's almost like the award for like most improved.
yes.
You know, it's like you still suck at baseball, but like at least
You're getting better.
Yeah.
That's the most Brit thing. That what you just did was like the extra information on something, and I was like, oh, now I get the whole picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do that. I'm working on listening more and not finishing people's sentences. I get very excited to be in on it with people.
But I can like that. Like with my girlfriends, I like when it's like we finish other sentences.
So I was gonna say.
yeah. See, I do that a lot.
No, you don't.
No, that was a perfect example of what I do.
It didn't
No, it's
land.
a perfect bit to explain why I'm working on listening more.
All that's to say that neither of us are gonna roast you.
We can't do it.
You won't do it?
I just, it's so scary to me. It is so scary. It's like how I literally like I'm an actor. Give me a monologue, but you ask me, Jasmine, to like stand up and like give a speech, and I like can't do it.
I think I've just stopped caring maybe about what other people think, but I see you guys as like that too.
But I think I don't know.
I don't mind making a fool of myself. Like right.
I don't
you know?
either. It's just
I know.
I don't know. It's certain things. I wonder what that is.
But see, whenever you guys, like, you're talking about when you get excited with people and you want to like, I have to
Sorry.
quell that for this show when I have certain guests I'm really excited to have on. Like when Matt D'Elia was on here, for instance, I was super excited to have him on, or Bill D'Elia, his dad, the director. I had to be like mentally not giddy. You know what I mean? Like I was just like,
Suppressing the
oh,
emotions.
dude, like what's up? Like you're here. This is great. Like that's what I want to naturally do.
But
But
it's okay to do that. That's your truth.
yeah, but then for like podcast purposes, it doesn't translate so well. It just feels like all over the place for me instead of a very directed conversation sometimes. But
Energetically, you don't feel as good about that.
no, but with a group of friends, like I think that's okay to do.
Yeah.
I-
Agreed.
Yeah. This is awesome.
This is so awesome.
I wish we would do this more often.
You know,
I would love to.
Yeah.
I
I'd
just love
love
spending
to.
time with you guys.
I
I
know.
don't care what capacity it is.
Can we ask Paul to do like another show with us?
I've honestly thought about it. I also feel like ABC should just pick For the People back up.
I know. It's perfect.
It's
exactly what they should be doing.
Exactly what they should be doing right now. This would be the perfect show for the post
and yes,
world that we're in.
Also, just to give, it's sort of what you were saying too about the divisiveness. You know, I think the one thing that was so beautiful about For the People, not one thing, there was many things, but the one thing that I was so proud of to be a part of with that show in particular was that there was representation for so many different points of view that sort of helped people create empathy, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't, as weird as it may sound, I don't feel like the world, there is as much divisiveness as I have in previous times, to be honest with you. Maybe it's just because I've only been surrounding myself with like-minded people as of recently, but I just think honestly, like, also, like, it's what you're saying, source of leadership. Like, sometimes telling stories sort of helps people find their own truth, you know, and helps guide people into being able to look inside themselves and go, like, well, where do I stand on this issue? Like, that's what that show did so cool.
Yeah.
It did so well, you know, is helping you understand where you fit in the fold, you know?
Yeah.
I miss it.
Yeah, it's so interesting what shows resonate in these type of times too. Like, and it's actually the opposite. Which sounds kind of weird, but like sometimes fantasy shows and things of great distress, like times of great distress, actually do great. And when things are kind of
God, I can't watch that stuff right now.
fantasy,
Can't watch anything.
I have been like at the end of my day, I've been rewatching some stuff. Actually, I've been watching a lot of Japanese comedy shows, and so that's been really interesting. It's something.
Why Japanese comedy?
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's very specific.
Send me
I feel like you've said this before, that this was
I have a big plan.
they have
I
a big
plan.
game. They're big into game show reality. I think the
Yeah.
Japanese culture,
And-
right?
Yeah, and it's a very specific type of, like, we on the show, like on Guys Night, which is next,
Oh yes,
we hired a guy.
Hired a guy to do what?
We hired a guy
like
to
facilitate.
I think Peyton needs to know at a certain point, so I'll just say it on here. We've hired a guy to facilitate the punishment of the game.
Oh boy.
Punishment.
Yeah.
Oh, is this like that flicking game?
It's,
the zapping or the?
It's we used to play the no laughing game, and you would get punished with a shock or like getting hit really
I would
hard.
die.
The stakes on these games, it's just too much.
I love it because it's so extreme, and to watch like your friends get like zapped or in pain is just hilarious.
See,
Can't
relate.
I know.
We can't relate.
But I'm happy for you, and I'm very excited
happy
for
you're
this
happy.
experience, and that you've got this punishment, dude, coming your way.
Like watching my friends get nervous before like them about to experience, not like like they're getting to get hurt, you know what I mean?
This
But,
is
like,
so the I'm like I brought in a like therapist.
I was
to,
gonna
like,
say
spend
like
time with
a
us for
personal
an hour.
hugger, like,
Yeah,
literally the exact
someone to just
opposite.
provide
Yeah.
like a nice shoulder
Like,
touch
massages
for the next
yeah.
hour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
literally the exact opposite.
But to each his own. Is that what I say? Is this a business?
Are you a little? Because I'm a little.
Moscato is a bit.
Moscato's great. It's really good.
I like the sparklingness of it all.
It's so good. The first time I had Moscato was, I think, on a rooftop in Sweden.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Luxury.
I know. It was amazing.
Just like the epitome of class. Rooftop.
A rooftop
Sweden.
in Sweden,
Moscato.
May of 2018.
Were you by yourself?
No, I was with the castmates and
Gotcha.
crew and stuff. It was
Oh,
for a
you
video
do
game
acting.
that I did. No. I actually have a salt company.
Oh.
An assault? Oh, salt company. Sorry.
Salt. Brown salt.
Brown salt. That's right. I saw that on your Wikipedia
Have you
page.
looked? Yeah, I was going to ask if
That's
you looked at
awesome.
my Wikipedia.
Congratulations.
Thank
How's
you.
that going? The fight against the other salt companies?
You know, it's going,
Yeah.
but I'm going to need some more support soon. Some online support from my biggest fans
Yeah.
of my salt company.
I'll have to figure out something. The next step in that.
People really respond to very dramatic videos,
Yeah.
just so you know.
I always have to one up it, so I don't know what to do next. Maybe do something with
I-
Britt. Should we do a brown salt video? Me and you?
Are you still doing the like
No. I don't want to.
the cards for making you laugh, gift cards for making you laugh, because my mom has
Yeah.
these so many ideas.
Yeah, actually, we're doing a Make Wesam Laugh segment this coming Guys Night, and then probably in the coming future, we also have pins coming up for the winners. They get specified special pins, and they also get specified pins, specified pins, and they get their name on the Hall of Fame. What?
We're on another channel at this point.
Clue Cluck. Cluck.
Don't say that. Don't say it ever
How
again.
far into can I say clue, and then I can't say cluck?
Clue Club. Why can't you?
Because then it's going to sound like I'm saying the KKK.
You are.
Right.
Don't put this in. Don't put this in.
No, it's a callback to how I was saying it bad.
Oh, right.
Yeah, what do you think? I was just...
No, I'm just.
Wait. You thought I was just saying, like, Ku Klux Klan.
No, I didn't. I knew it was the callback. I don't want to give it more attention than it deserves. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Britt.
Wipe.
I thought you were going to say white.
Oh my God. No.
White.
I'm like, wipe
Power.
it from the.
Britt, what?
No, wrong. Ah! No, wipe it, like get rid of it.
Wipe it down. It's the TikTok thing. You guys have
We
TikTok?
see-
Does anyone want to explain TikTok to me for the 1000th
Me too. I don't
time?
understand TikTok. Please explain it to me.
Is it just dances?
And
And
then-
who makes them up?
And why are some good and some are bad?
I think the perfect person to explain this is Peyton.
It is?
No, it's not. It's just another social media platform.
But why?
And
Yeah, what's
Why what?
different?
Why?
why what?
Why?
Does it exist?
Uh,
Do people like it? Do they want it? Why?
Why?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Vine.
But better.
Yeah.
That
I'm on the side of TikTok where it's like short, funny videos.
okay.
Right.
That's all it is. I make
Short, funny videos.
I just don't get it. Like I've seen like these teenagers, they're just all they do is they stand there and they smile and then words come up.
Oh,
And they point at the words. And those have like 16 million views and I'm like,
What's going on?
it's just words and you're smiling. I don't
well, we came across. We talked a whole episode about it. The most cringy TikTok user, and his name is Devin something.
Okay.
Devin Clary. Yeah, and he is so unbearingly like the cringiest videos you could possibly imagine, and the most ridiculous scenarios. Like he'll put in the caption like, "Your baby sister is kidnapped and they're gonna execute you," and he's like looking in the camera, and then he's like mouthing the lyrics to a song. He's like, "I will always love you," and he's like fake crying, and then that's the video he does.
What?
And it's like, oh, what are you doing?
I get so confused by Generation Z because they're like they're Tide Pods. But then they like
But then
led the revolution.
I know, but they're also like amazing. I know.
But then they do
But
that.
there's maybe a distinction. Like some
Summer.
I don't know, but I've had the same thought.
I'm just so confused.
Well, they're not all the same. Not everybody eats Tide Pods from the Zen
I know, but you know what I'm saying.
right, like if the same generation is
It's
breeding these
Confusing.
like abolitionists, how can they also be breeding like Tide Pod eating, TikTok
Yes.
making? Like how do they all coexist?
How does
Oh,
you're Gen Z?
oh, young.
Look at
What
It
is
cuts off at 23, right?
Correct. I'm 23. I am right
Oh, wow.
So you get to choose, and you're choosing Gen Z.
later generation like Gen Z. Millennials don't want us, and Gen Z doesn't really want us.
Oh,
We'll take you.
yeah.
Middle ground.
I think the generation should be a little smaller.
Right.
Because
Narrow.
what is it like?
1997 has a weird gap.
It's 97 to now. What is Gen Z? What are the years
It's like
through?
That's not the description.
Millennials are obviously to the millennials, and then Gen Z, what makes them so unique is they have had technology the whole time, while us millennials
yeah.
Had
We got introduced to it. Interesting.
pretty cool.
That is
Feel lucky.
fascinating.
More Moscato.
I want to say yes. I'm
I
not gonna be able to
kinda wanna
drive.
say yes too,
All right,
but
we'll
I
do
have
Moscato.
okay.
I'll just
No,
drink a
if
lot
you
of.
don't want any, that's fine. I don't.
I love alcohol,
Just tell me more. Yeah.
and I can always just.
It's all it's sugar free and
It's sugar-free?
alcohol free.
and alcohol
good.
free.
That can't be right.
He's
very low alcohol though.
great.
5%.
Load me up.
Yeah, loader.
Load me up. I love how Wesam's just getting us drunk. He hasn't even finished one glass.
Yep.
He just wants to get us to spill our secrets.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I got a lot of shit I can talk,
Yeah,
but I won't do it on air.
no worries. No worries. Yeah, I really want to work again, but I know.
You will. It will all end. It doesn't feel like it will, but there will be an end date, and you'll work again.
Yeah. I know that for sure.
This too shall pass.
Yeah, I am one aspect of my life in terms of the career side that, you know, I've been kind of frustrated on. And that's one of the reasons we had the war board meeting, was to talk about how we're going to
So cute.
attack the rest of the year in terms of ending it on a much better note and from the career point, you know. And
Low bar.
What's that?
Oh, career point. I was like, how are we going to end the year? How are we going to end the year?
Career at low bar.
Yeah, so I was like, what?
I didn't realize you were talking about
So real.
career-wise.
The realest what I've got.
I just thought you meant personally
That
in
was
the
the
year of
roast.
2020. I was like,
That
well,
was the roast.
got it? See, this is why I can't roast, because I'm like, I didn't mean it. I didn't realize you meant career. Like, I'm like spiraling out of control. I like, can't handle it. Anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted.
No,
you.
no. It's fine. It's pulled a Jasmine on me. Anyway.
So how are you going to end the year?
Oh, we're writing a lot more, and I realized the best time for me to write is super early in the morning.
Great. God, 2 a.m.? Like, what is super early to you?
Well, I've been trying to wake up at like 4:30 and then start.
I hate it.
Why?
I hate it.
Why do you hate it?
I don't.
It just feels unreasonable.
It does. It just feels.
It
feels unnecessary.
It feels
5:30
amazing.
even. I
Feels
understand.
amazing.
5:30 to me makes sense. 4:30 to me doesn't make sense.
I know everybody's freaking asleep, and the energy of the world is so like. You can actually feel yourself.
No, but that's beautiful. I get that about 5:30. I feel like the world collectively doesn't wake up until 7. So you can wake up at 5:30 and you got an hour and a half of quiet. 4:30, like even the bugs are still sleeping.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You feel yourself. Everything is quieted down in the city, and I can just, I don't know. I'm awake, and like the other day, I posted something.
Cheesecake everywhere. Sorry.
What's
There's
that?
hair and cheesecake. I'm like a disaster zone. I'm like, oh, cheesecake all over my glass, hair. Okay, so the other morning
day
you woke up.
posted
Well, gooey.
just gooey.
Gooey glass.
I'm sweating right now because I'm laughing so hard. Oh my gosh.
Me too.
No, yeah, I just like it at that time. There's just not a lot of it. It gives me an edge.
I'm glad you're happy.
Tell us what happened the other day.
What?
You were
said
going
the
to
other
say
day.
something. You were like the other morning.
Oh yeah, that's when I started it, and I realized how much better my day was.
You started getting up at 4:30, or you started writing at 4:30.
Getting up at 4:30, and then waking up a little bit and start writing shortly afterwards, and it was.
And then you go run.
No, that's the issue. I can't go running because the stupid people in charge of the stupid park services at Griffith, they'll keep the rest of the park open, but the Wisdom Tree Trail, they fenced off. So I've had to sneak in a few times just to go running, and I'm like, guys, this doesn't make sense. I'm wearing a mask. Everybody, like, you're just funneling more people into the other sections.
Yeah, that's strange.
Apparently, Runyon Canyon is a disaster. Like, it's just piled in people.
That's what
I haven't been, but I've
don't
heard.
get it. Or like even when the hiking was illegal, but you could still go on a jog around Silver Lake Reservoir, which is like a 5 foot wide. That makes no sense. It's much safer to be spread out on a mountain.
Leadership.
Than
See what I mean? Like that's the kind of stuff that
Cheers.
just drives me up. And some lady, I'll say it, Karen, was I was in a good mood. I was running, and this is the part that bugs me the most.
oops, sorry.
So,
That's okay.
you're good.
She catches me, and I'm going underneath the caution tape, and she's like, "Do you know do you know that the trails are closed?" And I have my mask on. I go, "Yup." And I'm running as she's saying this, And she goes, "Well, if the Rangers catch you, it's a hefty fine." I go, "Okay," and I just keep going on my merry way. She had set up a table, backed her car into there, was wearing like a green vest. She didn't work for Park Services. She was just doing that.
What?
Yeah, mind you,
A
she wasn't wearing a
psychopath.
mask.
What a psychopath.
I can't.
So do you understand like how I was like, man, you just got done with your morning. You don't want to do this. Like, just finish your run. It's fine.
But boy, did you want to do it?
Oh, you got to wear a mask. You got to wear a mask, which is fine. But like, some rules don't make sense. If you're going to have rules, I'm all for it. I love rules. Make them make sense.
You know, going back to just sort of centering the podcast with a theme. It's interesting. Someone pointed this out to me recently because I've been talking about freedom a lot because I know that's what you wanted to sort of talk about or like touch on it at some point. So I was thinking about freedom, and somebody mentioned to me about in relation to the mask thing because there's a friend of mine who was whose parents were immigrants, and he said, I was talking to my mom about the mask thing, she was an immigrant from Hungary, and she goes, honestly, it is just fascinating to me that you get to have an opinion on the mask.
Right.
Like in communist country, you wear the mask. You wear the mask. Like you don't get to talk about wanting to wear the mask. You don't get to have an opinion on the mask. You don't get to have feelings about it. And if you do, then they are suppressed and that to me, I was like, wow, you're so right. As much as I loathe the humans who don't wear the masks and who are walking around willy-nilly without the mask, it's so crazy to me that we live in a country where you get to have an opinion on that, Yeah,
we're so privileged. We're so lucky.
Yeah, I take it for granted. I have my entire life,
I find it absolutely a privilege to be able to do that, especially, I'm an immigrant, so that's one of the beautiful things I like about this country, is the freedom to talk about stuff that I disagree with is something that everybody takes for granted. Side note, I love how I wish the people who fought so passionately about not wanting to wear their masks would fight so passionately about everybody having equal rights.
Right.
That's
it's
one of the many frustrating elements of it.
Whenever they were, protesting in the OC, I was like, this is kind of absurd.
Like in the TV show?
No, like Orange County, like Long Beach.
Or like
yeah.
People were protesting.
I was like, I could see why people would protest in terms of like open this country up because I can't feed my
what were they protesting?
family. I need to have my
Black Lives Matter did a bunch in Long Beach. They have like a whole initiative out in Long Beach.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about the people who were protesting that I don't want to wear masks.
In Long Beach.
In the OC, the Orange County. Okay. This was a while ago.
Oh.
And I was like, and they are fighting and they are like chanting in the streets as if they are fighting life and death. And I was like, I could understand somebody being that passionate about opening the country. And at the time it was this, it is still going on, but at the time it was like people were protesting like, I want to go back to work because I can't feed my families.
Right.
And I'm like, that I understand. I actually don't have a problem with people protesting about that because I get it, the COVID thing and everything. And so they're like, I need to work. I'm willing to take that risk, but I need to work. I'll wear a mask, whatever. But they weren't allowed to work. While other people are protesting, I don't want to wear a mask.
Oh, I know.
It's like, my guy.
Wasting that voice.
Why are you fighting for it? Like, it's so funny to me what people get passionate behind. Anyway, that was just a side note. But freedom is one of the best things about this country. But at the same time, there are a lot of great things about this country that I'm so appreciative for, that I love that it's given me the opportunity, my family the opportunity to have better lives. But I'm not going to pretend it wasn't.
You're free though? Like as a person of color, you really feel free here?
Me personally?
Yeah. Like you don't think you're definitely always paid less than a white guy on set.
Me?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Personally?
Yeah.
Are you like in terms of people of color, or are you talking about Wesam personally?
Both.
Oh, me personally, no. People of color.
You're a person of color.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think freedom is real. We're not actually free. We're like free in the sense of like free to speak our mind, but we're not free.
For sure. I agree with you in that sense.
I brought up the money thing because that's like, you're like a straight, able-bodied, cisgendered man, so you are free in a lot of ways. But that's just one area that I know where we can relate on. Like, I know I've never been paid what I deserve, and you haven't either. I don't know your paychecks, but I just know you haven't because you're a person of color and an immigrant. So I don't think you're actually free.
Allow me to address that and then take just a slight step backwards. When I said I'm in a country that's free, I'm talking about that specifically that allows me not 100% freedom, but certain areas where, like, I get to talk right now about stuff
Right.
that I feel free about.
Totally.
I get certain opportunities to make change. Do I believe there is an illusion of freedom? Absolutely. In this country.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that clarifies that.
Totally.
Now, if we're talking about financial stuff, I've been very blessed. And I can't say I've been unpaid unfairly. There have been maybe one or two instances where I'm like, damn, okay. But then looking at the whole production side, I'm like, I could see why. I could see why.
Why? What?
Why I
Made
couldn't.
that amount.
Yeah, I couldn't get a
Like
pay
whether
bump.
it was like a lower budget thing or it was an ensemble or
Right.
that kind of thing.
Yeah,
You mean?
yeah. It
Interesting.
was never, for me, at least from what I was witnessing and everything, because of my ethnicity or anything like
You never
that.
felt discriminated against, like monetarily.
That's good.
No, and I will be completely frank with you. I grew up in Oklahoma, and we were obviously Middle Eastern. I can only think of maybe 1, 2 times. Maybe once or maybe once or twice out of my entire time living there in my personal life. Excuse me. And then all the customers we had in our restaurant, such a small percentage of actually people we were like, oh, they're extremely discriminatory. We've been so lucky growing up in, out of all places, Oklahoma, not being having any prejudice or anything or racism. I was very blessed and very lucky and appreciative. Now, did I see it happen to other people? Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why we were exempt from that. I honestly don't know
Maybe your
why.
parents did a good job of shielding you from it.
No. There wasn't any shielding.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's great.
But
it's
it's
a very
interesting. It comes in sometimes the smallest form, you know? Like that's what I've even noticed, like with my family, even because sorry, did I cut you off? I didn't mean to cut you off. I think you still had some stuff to say.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
going to say, and I recognize that is not the normal thing. And I know I'm not blind to that either.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I didn't mean to put you on the spot. That's just something I talk about a lot is money. And specifically as a queer woman of color, it's part of my activism now. Like I talk openly about money with women specifically and on set now. When I'm doing a job, even on this pilot that I just did, I pulled the other women aside my age and I was like, here's how much I'm making. So so you can be empowered. How much are you making?
Mm-hmm.
And to give them the safety for us to talk about it, because that's the only way we're going to get more money is if
That's
we're
excellent.
open about it. And I've been doing that on recent jobs, and it all started when I did a job years ago where I was making 1/6 the amount my white male co-star was making and 1/4 the amount my white female co-star was making, and I had more experience than they did at the time. And that was when I realized, like, this is a race thing and I'm gonna have to talk about it in order to get paid more. And like, because our country is a capitalist country, I'm never going to be free until I have pay equality.
that is wonderful, and I support paid equality. It becomes a little in terms of
That's the only reason I brought that up.
trick. Yeah, because I don't want, and why I'm being careful with my words is I don't want to say that, oh, I have not experienced pay inequality. I have not experienced extreme racism in my life a lot of times to make it seem, oh, well, see, then it doesn't exist. That's why. It does exist. I just haven't experienced it personally on such a crazy level in this country. Now, have my people back in Syria experienced it? My heritage because of our religious beliefs? Absolutely. Did I have family members killed from it? Yes. So I've experienced it in a different aspect and different area because of religious views. Now, are they kind of the same? Yes, in terms of the hatred for somebody based on their religious views or skin color. Yes, I've experienced something similar, not in this country. That's why it's such a big leap for me from my previous country.
Yeah, and you just have such a different worldview and experience that I can't relate to.
And that's why I don't speak ever outwardly about it in this country, because that's not the fight that needs to be fought here.
Yeah.
especially for the African American, especially for the Native Americans, especially for the Hispanics that are facing the same thing, the Asian Americans that faced it when this country was built. So I'm not bringing my dirty laundry, if you will, over here, because I don't want to say dirty laundry. Maybe that's not the best thing, but my issues there are not my issues here. I'm finding ways to fight against it here that are giving me the opportunities to do so.
Yeah.
So that's my story, and it's not everybody's story, and that's fine. But I'm willing to fight for, or like speak up for other people who aren't.
That's great.
So that's why I was hesitant in like bringing it up.
No, it's
and
beautifully
trying
articulated. Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. That's just
That's
something
fine.
like
Thank
I'm
you for bringing it up,
specifically
though. Thank you.
passionate about
Yeah.
money because like financial stability and financial freedom is so important. And when people say money doesn't buy happiness, that is a lie. $1,000 to someone in extreme poverty is huge. There was this study, I forget which university did it, but it basically said money doesn't, people making less than $70,000, like are like a family making less than $70,000 is struggling to pay the bills, is just as paying rent. It's just like making rent, getting groceries, getting by. Like, yeah, a pay raise would buy happiness. If you don't have to worry about where your next meal is going to come from, you don't
Yes.
have to worry about can you make rent, you don't have to worry for the things that you need to survive.
It's stress relief.
Exactly. But over a certain amount, and I think it was $120,000, over that amount, it actually, it doesn't, because
Creates
then
more problems.
more money, more
Yeah.
problems. Even if it's just the mental shift of, well, now
Yes.
I actually should buy the nicer car because I can. And now I'm worried about those payments. Now I'm worried about making up appearances.
Yes.
But saying money doesn't buy happiness is just a way to like write off the people with
That's
less
right.
than you and ignore their issues, when that's financial freedom and the ability to like make do with a little extra and be comfortable should be something that we all have, and we won't have it unless we can talk about it.
Well, that's why I'm a big believer in reparations for Black people in this country. I like, whether it be monetarily or, there's a big movement about, buying Black or investing your money in Black communities, or because I think it comes in all forms. And I think that that's a way where we can say, like, okay, I know we've been oppressing you for hundreds of years, and we said we change and we didn't, and we said we make it better and we didn't, but like, here's a way. I mean, even when you were talking
With Sarah?
yeah, the Instagram I
Yeah.
never know what to call them, but when you were talking and you were saying, like, mentor someone or have these conversations openly with your co-stars or your people, your place of work, so you can sort of understand where you fit in the group. And if you're being paid significantly less than the people around you, tell them. Because honestly, I was empowered in that moment. I was like, how can I make it fair for someone going forward in my next job, And
Right. You could probably put in like some sort of rider in your contract.
absolutely. And saying
Yeah.
like, oh, I will only get paid the same amount as, like, in my
That's
next
huge.
job, I have
That's
the
huge,
girl
Britt.
who plays my love interest. I don't know who they've cast yet, but I know they want a person of color, and she's playing my love interest, and she will be in just as many episodes as I will. I don't know the storylines, obviously, but I want to fight for her to make the same amount of money that I do, and it's Netflix, so I feel like they will try to make those moves, and I have to stand for it. And I think stuff like that. That's what opening the conversation will do. It will empower the people around you to care enough to like do the thing.
Because no one can think about something they've never had to think about. You've got to bring it to their attention.
That's awesome. That's very true. It starts to get a little tricky for me. Again, I believe in pay equality and large disparages.
Just
Disparities.
Uh-oh,
Lar-
shadow down.
large disparities in pay because of color, and it's hard to like, nobody ever, very rarely somebody goes, oh, we're not gonna pay her less because, outwardly, like in public, because of her skin color or
Right.
his skin color. It's kind of always done under the rug. I always try to think of, okay, is this person a bigger name than me? Is this person, I'm not trying to. I'm trying to figure
I know.
out the solution of this
it's
problem.
tricky with our industry and
And
with any
also your
industry.
reps, because my lawyer, why I love my lawyer, he fights for me tooth and nail
Yeah.
to the last second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of person I'm like, all right, yeah, we're gonna squeeze this out, because I'm not when I say I've been paid well, it's not just because I sat back and did nothing, or not me, but my reps. So that's why it becomes a little tricky. And
I know, but I would just argue though, the thing with
Yes,
that
please.
is people could throw those things. We can come up with reasons all day.
That's right.
Yeah.
To not have pay equality, because I get it. Like even just on this last job that I did, where I spoke with my co-stars about how much we were all making, it turned out to be that for the first time ever in my experience, we're all actually making the same.
Oh, that's great.
Which was interesting to take in, because it's like we do have extremely different experiences in the industry. We're all in very different places in our career. One could argue that we should be making a different amount. But then I could also argue we're all doing the same amount of work on the same show. It's the same amount of preparation and emotional labor and like physical labor. It's a very physically intense show. You could argue both sides, but I think because I have all three things going against me, I have woman, I have brown skin, and I have
see what you're
queer.
saying.
Like until the day I die, someone could come up. I've heard it all. Like you could come up with 10,000 reasons why. Well, let's say it's 10 years from now, I'm like the most famous star ever, and I'm in a movie with some new name. Even then, someone could come up with a reason why they should make more than me. Like there will always be a reason.
See, I don't agree with that though.
I do. I think it's possible.
If somebody is bringing in, for instance, somebody has 20 million followers, right, on their Instagram, and let's just say for kicks and giggles,
We're all a little bit.
right?
Yeah.
They're bringing in eyes to the TV show. And they're like
Doesn't translate.
White. What's that?
Sorry.
What do you mean?
I don't think it translates. Like you can have like 100 million followers on Instagram,
but that doesn't mean-
but doesn't mean they're all going to watch your show.
I'm not
But
saying
I get
but
what
there
you're
is
saying.
a large
Yes.
percentage of those people. There's a certain percentage at a certain point where it's like, oh, this will be worth our money in terms of when you start looking at it from a money perspective. And then if that person argues, well, hey, listen, I'm bringing in, if I'm that person who has 20 million friends, I'm like, hey, I'm looking at not from a racial thing or anything. I'm looking at purely business at that point. I'm like, hey, I'm bringing in this much. I think I deserve to get paid more if I'm the lead.
But then you need to make a conscious effort as a production to then go below the line, because that's, you're talking like above the line sort of people who are like bringing in views or have been working for a long time and they, have worked hard for a quote or whatever it may be. But then you have to make sure that below the line, it looks very similar, like you're or similar in that people should be making the same amount of money, and then it should look very diverse. Like the people that you're hiring should be people of all different types of ethnic background. Like you need to just be. So that's what I'm saying is there's always a way to compensate for those things.
Yeah. Well, and I would say, okay, here's a scenario. There's that person, right? They're a Instagram star. They're an influencer. They have 20 million followers, but they're not an actor.
Sorry,
but they're an influencer.
Right.
They're going to bring in a lot of eyes because they're so famous. Then you have this person who's a character actor who's been working for years. They're brilliant. They have studied. They have researched. They have prepped. They've been on 100 shows.
They went to Juilliard.
They have worked their ass off, and they're excellent at their craft. And then you have this person who's never even acted, and they're just getting hired because they're famous. But because that person brings more eyes,
is more valuable.
They're more valuable, so they're going to get paid way more than this person who's actually studied this thing, given their life to it, and is excellent at it. And my point is, in that scenario, we're saying the reason they're making more is because they are famous, but that could just be code words. Really, it's like this. You could subs that out with this is a white person. This is a straight person. There's always going to be a reason to pay us less is what I'm saying.
But that's the thing when you say pay us less. I am not like a racist person. I know that, you know what I mean? And I'm all about like, sure, yeah, let's have diversity, but I also want people who are capable of doing, you know what I mean? When you say like hire people who are diverse.
There's plenty of diverse people who are qualified. It's just they haven't given many opportunities.
Exactly.
Awesome. That's a great point you make there too, and I'm glad you said that out loud. That clears it up because it needs to be specified, not just. And I'm so glad you said that out loud because the counter argument is always, well, what we're basing off. We have to make it diverse for the sake
But
of
that's
making it
just
diversity.
laziness. That's
I know it's
because
just laziness.
there are plenty of people who are really brilliant and talented who haven't been given an opportunity, and then there are people who just haven't had the opportunity to be trained because like freaking like those summer internships, the unpaid internships. There's a reason only rich white kids can do an unpaid internship because their parents are paying their rent
To live.
The kids who move here,
Yes.
who like myself, who didn't have financial support from parents and was doing it all by myself, I could never have taken an unpaid internship. I had to like make my rent. So I didn't have the opportunity to be mentored by someone brilliant for free because I couldn't afford that, and
Right.
that kept me back, you know?
I just need it to be said. I want it to be said out loud by you guys
Mm-hmm.
because that part is missing, and I think it's so important for it to be said that there are plenty of qualified, diverse
Oh,
people out there.
so
Because
many.
I know it's unspoken, but like that's the problem. You don't give the other side a chance to argue against that. That's why I think it's like there is qualified, diverse people all across the board.
in
yeah.
every walk of life, in every position,
field.
you know.
I just wanted to be said
Of
out loud.
course,
If that
of
makes any sense at
course.
all.
Totally.
Because when we're not specific, sometimes that's where
No,
problems arise.
then people are like, oh, wow.
Sorry, I totally shifted the tone. We were having
No.
a great time, and then I was like,
That's 2020. You got an
that
ebb
is
and flow.
2020.
You guys, I may have to leave soon. I have
Oh
to,
shit! dude,
Yeah.
I totally
What time is
forgot
it?
about that. It's 2:07.
Okay,
It's
cool.
2?
When do you have to?
Wow.
I need to leave like soon because
Soon,
I have
okay.
to I have to be the one to get there, and I have people like showing
you
up.
know what?
So I just
we'll
have
wrap
to.
this up right now.
Sorry.
Nothing to be
be like
sorry
a-
about. I feel like we could have talked
No,
for
you're
another.
good.
I
at
know.
least
That's why I
hour
was
or
like,
two.
gotta
So
let you know.
6 hours.
I thought we were
Yeah.
gonna. It went by way quick. By the way, way too quick.
It was after 2.
I know. Well, I only knew because when I went to the bathroom, I had like a thought being like, "What's the code?" I was like, I don't know. I'll deal with it later." Like
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Okay, we'll wrap this up. First of all, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'd love to do this again sometime
too.
later on
Yes.
before the year is
Anytime,
out.
as long as there's more Moscato.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
do another Moscato. Maybe a girls.
Although I'm a little nervous
girls
that I
brunch.
said things I shouldn't have said because I got a
No.
little Moscato happy.
No, you said
No.
all the right things.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the right things, all the right times.
I think everything that was said was needed to be said, and we
Needs to be
discussed
said.
it in a certain way that was important. And if we want to follow this up with another show at some point,
Let's do it.
We can
I-
answer all your questions out there.
Actually,
yeah,
yeah.
send us questions. I would
maybe
love
we
to do
have a
this
topic list and a question
often.
list that we should answer. Like, hey, if somebody asks, hey, can you guys talk actually more about this? I didn't quite understand, or I didn't really see your point in this. Maybe
Yeah.
we can have a follow up with this. I
Yeah.
think that's important.
I'm ready.
Hey, happy birthday. Happy dirty 30.
Dirty, flirty, and 30.
Woo! That's my stripper dance.
I'm pervert, and she's flashing her crotch at the camera, and you're calling me a pervert.
Yes, because
That's my stripper shake.
Yeah.
okay.
Stripper shake.
We have pictures. Did anybody take pictures during the
Get a
show? Or
picture
should we
of
do that
that.
afterwards? Afterwards. This is the camera I'm looking at. All right, play us out, Peyton.
Play us
Da, da,
out.
da.
Peyton.
Hey, thank you, Adobe Radio.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Nice
Adobe
Guy
Radio.
Digital.
Thank you, Nice
Thank
Guy
you
Digital.
to Alexandra, and Peyton for all the
and
work you do on the
Peyton for all the
show.
work you do on the
Thank
show.
you, Britt.
Thank you,
were
Britt. You were awesome.
Thank you, Jazz. You were the
No.
best one of all.
Ah.
And to Wesam.
For
That's so rude.
love you.
existing.
So rude. Rudikus Maxis. No, I'm kidding. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing, everybody. Follow them on their Instagram, Britt something Robertson.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Jasmine. And follow Jasmine at Biggest Pervert 69.
Oh my god.
That's her screaming.
I wish it was. I'm gonna go change it to that.
Yeah. What? Why did I sniff like that? Hey, thank you for tuning in. We had a bunch of new subscribers. We
Wesam's
appreciate
doing
you.
cocaine now.
Always remember to listen, think, and then talk. And remember, next week, guys' night, we're going nuts. We hired a gimp
You hired a gimp?
to put punishment.
Go
We hired
with
a
your
gimp.
nuts? You're
No.
going
Oh,
nuts?
you're the most unfunny person I know.
Oh my god.
That's me.
Don't ever say that to her again. I don't
kidding.
like this.
Oh, shut up! You know you're funny. You know you're funny. Don't
And she
do
smells good for the audience who doesn't have smell-o-vision. She smells really good. I don't. I still smell sweaty.
that. Always remember to listen, think, and then talk.